Hey guys, it's me. It's me, Kyle. It is December 10th, 2019. It's about 6 o'clock p.m. where I am in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Let me give me 1 second. I hope you guys can hear me. And welcome in the chat, whoever's in chat. Can you hear me okay? Hey, Target Maryland 2019 says hello. I'm using my headphones because I kind of wanted to play a song just to kind of get us started. I'm hurting right now, like in between my shoulder blades and my back, and I'm really tired. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're getting through this. You know, we've really got to push right now. Okay, Brittany. Hey, Brittany. Brittany says, yes, I can. Also, guys, I have a question. I might just play a little bit of this song, but somebody was commenting that my ZVS driver was making like a humming sound and it was really apparent on the videos. Can you guys hear that white noise, that humming sound right now? I don't think you can with my headphones in. They were saying it was kind of distracting. It was making their V2K a little bit louder. I know that white noise kind of does that. Hey, Autumn, how are you doing? How are you and your family doing? I hope you're doing well. Christmas is coming up. It's my favorite season. I know it can get a little bit depressing for us, you know, for all the things that we maybe don't have, but we really got to hold on to what we do have. We've really got to hold on to all the positives. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. I've got something kind of special tonight. You know, those TED Talks, they have a lot of TED Talks about electromagnetic frequencies. And then there was this TED Talk that I found where actually somebody who works at Airforce Research Laboratory is talking about integrated directed energy weapon systems. She's talking about it in the context of destroying electronics, but the way that she talks about it, I want y'all to hear how she talks about directed energy. Hey, Jared. Jared says, hey, RFB is about to go on in 10 minutes live, but I prefer to listen to you because you are genuine and say my name. Well, that's cool, Jared. And I mean, if people want to go watch Richie from Boston, that's fine. I'm just kind of putting out live streams and information when I can, when I feel. I don't really feel like I can today, but I'm still going to push. I'm going to push, get the information out. I know that I don't appear that bad. So I'm going to try and kind of in my head just say, okay, well, I feel really bad, but I can still put out some good information. I can still do this. So I just need to do it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Robert, let me turn off my phone, guys, because I usually get a lot of texts and stuff while I'm doing a live stream. I want to let people know I'm doing a live stream. And hey, anybody else coming in the chat? I guess I'm not gonna. Yeah, let me play a little bit of this song. I'll tell y'all why I'm gonna play a little bit of this song. Just texting Stacy. She's at work. It's killing me. It's really killing me because she has to, you know, work a lot. And she's being targeted really heavily. The defenses are like helping when she can use them, but then she has to go to work and she can't use the defenses. Even when we do use the defenses, it's still pretty rough. Okay, yeah, I think it's because I have the headphones on. Thank you so much. Yeah, somebody was saying, and I realized that what happens is I watch my videos back and I have my ZVS driver on, so I'm hearing the ZVS driver going. And so yesterday when I was watching that video back that I did yesterday, I turned off my ZVS driver and I could hear the hum of it. To me, it's soothing. You know, to me, it's soothing and not distracting, but I do want, somebody was saying it was kind of distracting. So I put my ZVS driver down on the bottom of my desk. And the thing is, like I'm supposed to be getting another power supply. I thought I was going to be getting it Monday, but it hasn't gotten to me yet. Ordered it on Amazon. I think the deal is a lot of people are ordering the parts for it now. So I might, it might take a while to get that power supply, but when I do, I'm going to do a live stream, putting it together. Let's kind of get started, guys. I just want to play a little bit of this song, and maybe I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's kind of long, but I wanted to play Oceans, where Feet May Fail by Hillsong United. I hope you guys can hear this. Wait, you guys need to tell me if y'all can hear this, because it's playing in my headphones. Can you guys hear the music? Hey, Autumn, can you hear that? Just me? Okay. Okay. Y'all, so y'all can't hear. Okay, I'm gonna have to figure out a better way to do this then. Okay, but I was listening to Hillsong United today because I was just like, my back's really sore, I'm tired, like, all my loved ones are suffering, and it's tough, this is really, really tough. I'm just trying to get through it, keeping as hopeful as possible, keeping as much hope as possible, because we have miracles coming if we just push through. I guess I'm gonna have to take my headphones off to do the TED Talks thing. Just trying to think if there's anything I just wanted to say up front. I know that there's like an illusion that we don't have power, that we're kind of powerless against this. It's so big, and it's this big torture program all around the globe. But I just wanted to say that is a truly an illusion. We have a lot of power to help each other. We have a lot of power to still do what's right. We have a lot of power through God, our creator, creative power, and we just got to tap into it. Hey, Deb, how are you doing? How are you doing with all this stuff? Yeah, so I'm gonna have to take the headphones off. It's really hard for me now because at the beginning, I think of inspirational things that get me through, and I just be able to spout them out on video. But now it's like I think it's something my attackers make sure to wipe those thoughts that I'm like, oh, I need to tell everybody that, because that could maybe boost somebody today. That could maybe somebody who's just like, I can't do this. The right words can sometimes lift somebody up for the day, and it can pick them up to where that they can get to solid ground, and if you notice, I don't know, a lot of you guys may experience this, but like if I have a thought where I'm like, oh man, I gotta tell everybody that, that's important, that's something that boosted me up, they'll wipe that thought right away. I mean, this is Satanism to the max, and I was kind of, how our attackers can see our inner voice thoughts. I was just thinking like, this is truly the darkest thing that human beings have ever done. I mean, when you're thinking, like when I'm thinking of inspirational thoughts to help innocent citizens who are being targeted, and they're trying to wipe those thoughts so that I can't help people. I mean, and also torturing me and, messing with my mind, which the remote neural manipulation is just, it screws up your perception and everything like that. But we still have power. We're still fighting. I'm hoping in 2020 we're going to see changes. And even if we don't see changes to this program, because everything is just so corrupt, and now the YouTube purge is coming, you know why they're doing the YouTube purge, right? And hey, Yvette, the YouTube purge is coming. I was thinking about, I don't think this is right, but it's a thought that I had, and I wanted to kind of pass it by y'all. I was thinking, awareness is getting out about this targeting and about these electromagnetic weapons, and it's a huge thing that the agencies in every country want to keep quiet for their national security or whatever kind of lie, right? And I was looking at how, like, sometimes I'll go and I'll look up targeted individuals on YouTube. There's so many new targeted individuals speaking out, and they're in so much pain, and they're giving their testimonies. It's really getting out. I don't think this is the right thought about the YouTube purge. I think they're just kind of trying to quiet any voices speaking the truth. But I was like, man, it kind of seems like maybe they're doing a lot of the censorship just for this one issue, because it's working. We're getting there. The awareness is building, right? And I was thinking, man, we're playing by these unfair rules. We're being murdered. We're still getting the word out. We're still building awareness, right? But then these people, like basically the military industrial complex controls Google and controls YouTube. So they can censor whatever they want. Whenever it gets to a point where it's like, oh, awareness is building about this subject, they just kick over the board. They just kick the board over, and we've been working for years and years to get this out. I'm very worried that like 6 years of the work that I've done trying to get the word out about this while I've been being tortured, it's just going to disappear. I mean, that's like one of my greatest fears. I feel like I could die, not well, yeah, I'm going to die happy. I'm going to die happy, but I was figuring that, you know, if that's wiped out, it'd be a blow, you know. I don't want to. I guess I don't want to hover on that too much. So Yvette saying her EMF is almost in the 400s. That's a lot. It's in micro Teslas. You should have 40 something. It should be 40 something or 40 something to 50. I do have to say that, like, I disagree with Kevin about a lot of how this works. I don't think they're just doing live streams. This is integrated weapon systems as contractors under the NSA and DOD and other agencies and stuff like that. But you know, the measurements that he's taking are correct. The thing that I do think, though, I'll tell you all the truth, because I did a bunch of measurements on my videos a while back, a couple of years ago. And what I do is, if they weren't directly hitting the phone, because then my attackers sometimes would directly hit the phone with directed energy. Like, I'd turn on the measurement thing and they would just hit it with a beam of energy to push that up, right? So when you're measuring those high readings, your attackers are probably just hitting the phone with a stream of directed energy, and that's why it's reading so high. It may not be that high around like your head and stuff like that, but when they're hitting the phone with it, it's going to get that high reading. And then when it would go down, I'd have a beam like coming down on my head, and I'd put the phone like to where the beam was hitting the phone, and it would catch that reading again, but it'd be a little bit low. Well, I guess it wouldn't be a little bit lower. They're probably shooting a beam at it, and it's just that high in the 400s. But that's what I think is really happening. They don't really care that we're measuring it. It's still good to measure. Don't get me wrong. And Kevin Christian is right to do so. But like when he's turning on his measurement, they're hitting that phone directly, and then they'll shut it off. And it's kind of part of a psyop. Now, that's from my experience with it. Still think he's doing a good job measuring it and just putting videos out. I disagree with him about, like, you know, this just having some kind of website like YouTube where they stream our remote neural monitoring. It's way bigger than that. It is military industrial complex agencies, but I love it that he's speaking out. This stuff is really complicated, and everybody's just got to speak out at kind of the level that you understand it, so people will talk about it, right? But it's still going to get the subject out there. And when I talk about Kevin Christian, I don't mean to insult or anything like that. It's just like I've done a lot. This is talked about. Like what's happening to us is talked about by many agencies and many people who are like advisors to the Pentagon and things like that. And so in the Cuban embassy attacks, the China consulate attacks, you put all these puzzle pieces together, and it is experimentation, torture, extrajudicial punishment, and then feeding this surveillance state, the NSA, DHS fusion centers and stuff like that. Many angles, many different angles. But I love it that he's speaking out, and I don't mean to downplay what he's doing, but it is like, I mean, it is a little bit more complicated than just citizens kind of getting their hands on your remote neural monitoring. I guess I don't want to get too much in that. I just want to say good job, Kevin, and keep speaking out, you know. Definitely. Hey, Wayne, man, how you doing? Oh, nice. Oh, you got to get a wig. I was thinking about me and Stacey were talking last night, and I think I need a change. So I'm gonna do one of those faux hawks, like where I shave the side of my head. Have y'all ever seen Endgame where Hawkeye has the faux hawk, where it's like shaved all the way, but then he has like one big strip of hair? I was thinking of doing that because I just kind of need some kind of change, you know. Okay, so guys, let's just go into. I'm gonna have to take off the headphones. It sucks. I wanted to play music, and I was thinking it could just be filtered through somehow, because when I play music, I'm gonna have to figure out my audio because I do want to play music and stuff like that. And I guess I won't talk about my plans for the future, but I'm gonna be trying to do more stuff, just even if I don't feel like it. I was thinking about this, guys. If we could start preparing for this. I love to do hangouts. Sometimes I feel so sick from this that I feel like I could jump on and do an unorganized hangout, but I feel like I would lose subscribers because I usually put out organized information. That's what people are used to. So I was thinking, now this is I'm not sure about this. The remote neural manipulation makes it hard to just make a decision and stick to it. It makes me like, oh, well, I need to do this, but oh no. But I was thinking on my second channel, Vulcan Wolverine 2, I was thinking about I'm like really sick and I don't really want to go through information, but just kind of have a very, very, very lax hangout. Like, I mean, I'm talking about like just sitting here, we talk on chat, some people come on, but very, very laxed and unorganized, where we just kind of talk about whatever we want. It'd be a place for targeted individuals to go for a couple of hours, and then I wouldn't have to worry about you know, organizing and stuff like that. I was thinking about still doing some stuff second channel, you know, doing some hangouts that's just like hanging out, and it would be very, very unorganized, and you guys come on and talk. So if you do like my live streams, if you do like the hangouts, go ahead and subscribe to that channel. I think I only have like 100 subscribers or something like that. But please go ahead and subscribe to that, because I will be doing some impromptu, like very unorganized stuff, just so I keep this channel organized, right? It's kind of thinking. I'm trying to work it out in my head what would be the best, but I'm thinking that that's going to be kind of the best way. Jared Ritter says, I am targeted and I know that there's nothing I can do about it, so I just take it. Maybe you should try not caring. No, Jared, there's a lot of stuff you can do about it. A lot of the defenses really, really attenuate this stuff. Plus, having the most information that we can about what's happening, you can help other targeted individuals to cope with it, to deal with it. I mean, whatever gets you through, whatever gets you through. But there are, like Dave KCD, the grounding is very important, because it helps with external hits and remote neural manipulation, the ZVS driver, the noise canceling hearing aids. With my, if I wanted to speak out like this and I didn't use defenses, I'd be brain dead by now. Like, I'd be a vegetable. And I really want some of you guys who maybe don't have a huge channel and stuff to try these defenses, because your attackers may deal with you differently. I don't know about the I don't know about just not caring. I'm not capable of that. God didn't build me that way. Sometimes, and Jared, sometimes I wish that God did build me that way. I'm jealous of people who can just not care and kind of, yeah, Deb said it. Deb Full of Grace said it's hard not to care. It's hard not to care when so many people are suffering, when our families are suffering, when we're suffering. And it's been rolling around in my head. My brother and my dad, they don't realize this is happening, and they do think that I believe, they believe that I believe, or whatever crap people tell you when they think you're crazy. But some of his advice is kind of rolling around in my head and kind of getting to me. He said, he's told me, you can't look at the whole world and think you're going to fix it, which is true. I mean, it's true. I just don't see any other way but to care to do as much as we can individually and try and link up those nodes, and it will work eventually. It will build eventually. So we don't have to save the world ourselves or anything like that. We just have to do our individual best, and it's going to make a difference. Hey, MM's TI Strategy Guide and Tanya and Future Knowledge. I think I saw a Future Knowledge. You said you're going to start a BitChute account. I have one. I have a BitChute account, but I haven't put any videos on it. The YouTube purge, like I saw a Louder with Crowder video where he's saying that's coming soon. And it's going to be, he said this, I'm not sure if this has happened, but he was saying even in your past videos, like they can grandfather clause your last videos for new terms of, new community terms of service. So like if I had an old video where I do something with the new policies are affecting, they can shut my channel down. So that's very scary. And I think that they're doing it because awareness is building up about tyranny. I think that this awareness of targeted individuals in this torture is a big part of what they're trying to shut down, because we're actually making headway. So MM's TI Strategy Guide, I'm not going to say your number on the live stream. As a matter of fact, I would go ahead and erase that message, MM's TI Strategy Guide. Don't put your number out on these live streams. Just email me. Just email me at vulcanwolverine@gmail.com. Just email me there, and I'll get in touch with you. I'll send you my number, but don't put it out on these live streams, because you got some trolls maybe watching later. Yeah. Just go ahead. Just send me an email at vulcanwolverine@gmail.com, and I'll send you my number, especially if you're in Baton Rouge. We need to get together and help each other. Yeah, Sleeping Beauty says, I don't understand the let them beat you up and don't care mentality. That doesn't work well for me. Yeah, she said, and it doesn't work well for me. We've got to fight. Like, we've got to fight. We've got to survive. You know, God's put that into my heart. It's evil. And, you know, like I said, we can't save the world. We can't fix how screwed up the system is becoming on purpose, right? The top of the pyramid is trying to create chaos and division so they can get control out of that. And we can't just single-handedly stop that. But individually, we can reduce suffering, help people. It's so important now. It's so important, especially when, you know, people are becoming cold and nihilistic. It's so important to believe. It's a big reason why they've gotten, they've gotten this far with everybody, is because they're messing with people's beliefs. They're making them stop having faith in each other, stop having faith in a creator. These things that humanity was built on, it's in our genetics for us to be strong, and for us to succeed. We have to believe in something bigger than us, whatever that is, whatever you believe in. In the name of Jesus Christ, I believe in God, the creator. None of this, I couldn't have stayed strong during any of this without that faith. We need faith, even when it seems like this can't get better. Faith is what will find you that little crack in the wall that you can get through. And I think, let me read Wayne's comment. He said something really smart. Wayne Moore says, caring does not mean revenge. The best revenge, guys, I'll tell you the best revenge, because my attackers really, they look stupid all the time. They feel stupid. Like, I've made them feel evil. And it's by living a very, very good life and being a good person, and no matter what, never giving up. And always, like, even if somebody, like in your family or your friends, makes you feel, you know, crazy or hurts you, you know, you say, okay, well, the bottom line, the underlying cause, right, is this targeting. Like my dad, like, he says some stuff to me that kind of hurts, but he loves me. The underlying cause is this targeting exists. Like, I'm being targeted. If this targeting didn't exist, me and my dad would be fine. He'd never say anything like that. He'd really believe in me and not believe I was mentally ill. So we got to look at those underlying causes, you know, and especially the best revenge is to be the best you can be, even with this, maybe especially with this, we can be even better, depending on the choice, right? the choice we make every day. I'm going to show you all a video later on, and it's kind of, well, I won't go into that because I need to get to this TED Talks thing, and we'll go through it. Robert Williams says, hey Kyle, have you considered asking Brian too, why not spend some money on hiring people who can help him solve this problem by designing defenses that may work instead of traveling all over the world? Well, I've tried, Robert, I've tried to get him to use Dave Case's CD and some of these things that have helped me. He just doesn't think that they work. Now, there's one thing there's a lot of things that I agree with Brian on, right? There's a lot of things, especially chemical shielding. Chemical shielding, I use like 0.5 milligrams of Ativan 2 times a day right now. I'm doing it 2 times a day right now. And then kratom. And I think I need to tell you guys this. I've been cutting down on kratom because I've been taking a lot for like 3 years, 2 or 3 years. I don't know, 2 or 3 years, a lot. Like to where in the last year I've been taking like 6 in the morning, 6 tablets of kratom or whatever, and then 6 in the middle of the day, and then 6 later on. I've been taking a lot, so I'm trying to reduce that so I can come back and so I won't have a tolerance for it, and my body's getting sore. Like my attackers are getting through because that's a great chemical shielding, right? So one of the things, and I do agree with Brian on a hell of a lot of things, the chemical shielding is very important. Like, so I give my body a boost and my nervous system a boost, and then the ZVS driver can work. Dave Case's CD can work. But I think Brian, the defenses that Brian thinks do work are pretty cheap, except for the electronic jamming. I think that like if we did want to get something that modulates and adapts, it would be very expensive. I don't know. I need to talk to him. I haven't talked to him in a while. Yeah, I really need to talk to him. Hey, PA, man, how you doing? And hey, Jeff. Hey, brother. BS still and no truth. I love that. It says, I use kratom and it's not working as well anymore. Yeah, you kind of get a tolerance for it. So I'm trying to kind of wean myself off of that. And I've been waking up more sore, right? And my body's been, so you get withdrawals from kratom if you take a lot for a long time. It's a very maintainable thing for like a year or 2 years, right? And that's our problem. Some of these things, these defenses, if this was just going on for a year, right? And this is obvious. If we were just being targeted for like a year or even 2 years, some of these things that we're using, it'd be a cinch. Oh, we can get through this easy, but it's doing it year after year after year after year, and it never stops. So maintainable solutions like kratom that aren't that dangerous, if you're taking them for years and years, a lot of it's kind of different. So we've got to adjust those things. Tim Greenglass says, I use kratom many grams per day often. It concerns me, but also helps. And always it's better than booze. Yeah, it's better than a lot of solutions. I just think if you're taking a lot for a long time, maybe wean yourself down, get off of it, see how your body feels and stuff like that. And then maybe just take it in emergencies when you really need it, But I've gotten on, I just got to tell you all that. It's part of my chemical shielding that really helps. It really helps all the other defenses to work better too. Okay, guys, I could talk. I love the chat room. I did those 2 videos without chat, and it just sucked. I mean, they're okay, right? I'm just putting out important information about the doctors at University of Penn, which I'm contacting. I'm going to still follow up on that lead. But man, I love having the chat. It just makes everything better. You guys are very, very smart. Thank you for coming, and thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for supporting all TIs. It's happening, right? That's why I was saying, like, I think this YouTube purge might have a big percentage to do with us, because the people who are now speaking out on YouTube about being targeted it's just keeps growing and growing and growing, it took a while, right? It took a while because people are kind of scared to speak out about this, but it's really, really exponentially happening. So now we're going to have to deal with whatever YouTube's doing now. And then And hey, Feather, how you doing? I haven't talked to you in a long time. Feather says, "How does create and protect?" Ooh, I want to read Jeff's too. It does something like it helps you to produce your own pain relief, right? It helps the brain to produce some kind of it's an herb that helps the brain produce like an opioidal thing in it. So it's not an opioid, but it's helping your brain produce those things to fight pain, and it can really affect your nervous system and like the remote neural manipulation, the pain to the nervous system, the pulling pain in my spine and my limbs is really reduced. So it's like a an herb that helps your brain to produce pain relieving chemicals. Yeah. Tim Greenglass says it's antidepressant, also pain killing as an emotional, right? Yeah. Yeah, Feather, they're doing that a lot. Feather says, Kyle, they announced a new psychiatric disorder that sounds like microwave sickness. Yeah, the DSM is modulating to keep us looking crazy and to help people to not understand that people are being hit by weapons. And I'm going to show you this lady talking. And Jeff says, my ZVS driver is working well, except for the nervous system attacks. Yeah, mine is still working. It's working at 30% less efficiency. You know, probably 25% less efficiency because I was taking the kratom and now I'm lowering that. And so they're the pain to my body, how my body is reacting to what's hitting me is different, not necessarily how effective the ZVS driver is, And I'm going to try another one and just like, just increase that field a lot. There's also some things we're gonna figure this out. Like we're gonna figure out better things. We're gonna figure out adaptive scalar fields, and I'm really looking into different forms of Tesla coils and things like that. And then there's also I'll show you all this thing on TED Talks. Yeah, let's go because I could just keep talking to y'all. Let me read Tanya's. Tanya says, Kyle, they want to shut up TIs around the world. Yep. Yeah, and they're gonna censor people speaking the truth. I mean, that's what YouTube coming up. That's what YouTube's trying to do. Hey, Ari Walmsley says, haha, I've scared the pants off the people who were listening in on my smartphone and literally they stopped monitoring me and haven't been back. That's great. I wish my attackers were just attacking me and just listening to me through my cell phone. That'd be great. They've got a, bidirectional stream of energy like tethered to my head and my nervous system, my brain and my nervous system, and remote neural monitoring me, and then they're doing through the wall radar, to hit me with external shots and to keep, I'm going to do that MIT article again because I really need to, I really need to I can't think of the word, but I need to show that MIT article again because they're using phased array antennas to create an electromagnetic field around the head, and then then sending a bidirectional stream of directed energy to actually modulate the brain on a neurological level. And so that's how the military industrial complex is trickling out things through MIT, through certain groups of scientists and things like that. I want to read that again to show y'all how a certain angle of it works. Some of y'all may remember that article. Future Knowledge says, type remote neural monitoring into chat without the periods. See what happens. Okay. True to. Okay, so MM's TI strategy guide. Also, some TIs are migrating their channels to true to. So TRUUTUBE. Okay, Ari. No. Okay, let's do this. Let's go to this TED Talks thing. I want y'all to see this. It's somebody concretely talking about directed energy weapons. Okay, and then this one. See this. I haven't watched this video yet, but there's this other TED Talks and it says extreme manipulation of electromagnetic waves with metamaterials. And I don't even know what a metamaterial is, but I'm going to be looking at all these TED Talks and when they're talking about directed energy and electromagnetic frequencies and stuff, so we can maybe find some better shielding. it's still, man, the defenses really work good. I'd hate to, you know, I think I may quit using everything for like 2 weeks and see how bad it gets and just come on. I'm going to quit. Well, I don't, then my attackers may try and do a psyop, but I still kind of think I want to try it. Just stop my defenses for, ooh, I'm so scared of doing that because I've done it before and it really, really hurts. Like I can't even move or get out of bed. Yeah, maybe I may experiment with that just so I can show y'all, you know, that the defenses, that a lot of the defenses do work. They just don't work 100%. So let's check this out, guys. The power and promise of high power electromagnetic weapons. I hate the title, you know, because what it's doing to us is not power and promise. It's, you know, evil. It's evil and it's being used. It's being abused. So I hate the title. This is Mary Lou Robinson. She works for Airforce Research Laboratory, and she's talking about directed energy weapons affecting electronic systems. So let's start watching this, and I'm going to go ahead and open the chat room on my tab so I can read comments from you guys. I wish my audio. I'm going to have to figure out better audio. That's going to sound horrible. It always sounds so horrible.
The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government, and I'm here to help. Do you know who said that? President Ronald Reagan. Well, I am from the government. I lead a team of weapons innovators at the Airforce Research Lab in New Mexico, where I've worked for over 17 years. Prior to that, I spent 6 years on active duty, and I love our country.
That's very scary that I'm from the government and I'm here to help. This lady saying she works for Air Force Research Laboratory on integrated weapon systems, and she loves her country. And why wouldn't this person? I mean, I'll get into this later. We'll listen to what she has to say. But why wouldn't this person who knows that there are high-powered microwave weapons and they're using them to disable electronics, when because she's probably seen people say, I'm being targeted by these weapons. She's seen the Cuban embassy attack. She's seen the China consulate attack. I don't see how she wouldn't know about these incidents and in all the citizens going through this saying, we're being hit with high-power microwaves. Why wouldn't she say something? Why wouldn't she say, yeah, we do have these weapons, right? There's all this proof of all these weapons. And I want to say, like, I was watching this, the first time I watched this, you know, I was like, how could anybody look at this? Like, if you're watching this video and you're not a targeted individual, and I'm showing you this lady who's saying, yeah, we've got high-powered microwaves, we're using directed energy weapons, and then there's all these people being targeted and saying we're being targeted by heat, and it's messing with our brains and our nervous systems. High power, it's heat, and it's like beams hitting us. How do they still think it's mental illness when these weapons exist, right? And this is an obvious thing we've said over and over again, but that is it's almost like it is like people should know that this is happening, but they justify it in their head that they don't have to believe it's happening. So it's like this double think, right? They know it's happening, but to stay safe and to not have to switch their paradigm, they have to be like, well, these people are mentally ill. So they talk about these weapons however they want in any way. They kind of stay away from talking about them being used on human beings. And they seem to get away with that still. We can go in, you know, it's becoming better, right? I talked to my psychiatrist and doctors, and they're starting to kind of figure things out. But how could anybody believe that if we're mentally ill, we just started feeling beams of heat on our body and voice to skull one day, and then like looked up these weapons we didn't even know existed, right? Like I didn't know anything about directed energy weapons. It took me like 2 years from the time of over targeting, or 1.5 years, to even figure out what I was being hit with. That doesn't exist, where you have a mental illness and you're saying you're being hit with something you never even knew existed, that you had to look up to see that it existed, right? That doesn't exist in reality. So you know, like we're all saying that the mainstream, what people in the public just generally believe, and the mainstream news says this complete conspiracy theory, complete crazy crackpot stuff. And then people that are being labeled conspiracy theorists, they're actually talking about reality, because our reality is so messed up. And this is, this is the whole point of full spectrum dominance. That guy, was it William Casey? Was it William Casey, the director of the FBI, that said, when every American thinks, when every American actually has false thinks, I can't remember the quote. Somebody help me out in chat. But it's basically like when every American believes the wrong thing, the exact wrong thing, our job will be done, right? That's how you control people. Knowledge is power. Like our evil counterparts, I don't know if you want to call the evil people doing this stuff, they have this saying that knowledge is power. They keep knowledge from the public to be able to have power over them, right? Knowledge is power, guys. To know what's actually happening in the world, to reach for newer things that science maybe hasn't concretely come up with. Knowledge is power. So we've got to use that. I forgot what my point was on that, but knowledge is power. Knowledge is power is my point on that. Can you guys hear this? Hey, artist about Elion, I hope you're doing great. I hope you guys are doing great. I know this targeting is hard, but I'm going to start just saying, I hope you're doing great. I hope you're getting through it. I hope you're getting through this with flying colors. Okay. It's a little low. Yeah. No, it's hard to hear. I got to get a better audio set up. Got to get a better camera. I really want to just get it so it's a better presentation. But let's just go ahead, y'all. Try and listen to it, and I'll try and fill in the gaps. But it's just the main overall arching message of she works for Air Force Research Laboratory. She's working with integrated directed energy weapon systems, and I'm sitting here as a targeted individual with my attackers breaking batteries, breaking CD players, hitting my electronic cigarettes through the refrigerator for, I guess, intimidation factor, or just to show that they can do it, hitting electronic cigarettes in my hand while I have them, turning my phone off and everything like that. Did I turn my phone off? I did turn my phone off. So let's try and listen to it. I know it's a little bit low, but I'm going to put it in the description for the live stream, and you guys can go watch it later.
He retired after serving 20 years on active duty, and he still works for the Air Force today. But the real reason why I do what I do is for my two patriotic children. That's Brad on the left and Cody on the right. And while I can talk to you all day long about why I do what I do, the real question is, why am I here at TEDx? I'm here because I need your help. You are perhaps more influential than you realize on how our military engages in conflict. Our morals, values, and ethics.
That's laughable. That's laughable right there. This lady's very scary. She's talking about like patriotism. She loves her country. She knows about these weapons and knows that they're being used on innocent citizens. Like her compartmentalized job at Air Force Research Laboratory is testing these weapons on electronic systems. But then when those people who are using these integrated weapon systems to like disable electronics and things, when they start hearing people saying, I'm being hit with microwaves and I'm just this innocent citizen, it's time to speak up. If you love your country, if you love your world, it's time to speak up. So she's sitting there and talking about morals and ethics and values. And I think she even probably believes it, right? The doublethink culture's here. 1984, double speak, double think, it's here. People have two opposing thoughts going on at the same time. And it makes people sick. It makes people sick. That's one thing that we maybe have a little bit of a leg up. We don't have doublethink. We know what's happening. We will speak the truth. Other people in the general public and people like this, they know that innocent people are being killed, but they deny it and they say, well, everything's fine. But wait, no, wait. These people saying that they're being hit with weapons, it's doublethink. It's doublethink. It rips the soul apart, and it makes people weak. Doublethink, doublespeak. Divide and conquer is not just two people or groups of people. It's in the individual, dividing the individual in their brain, in their thoughts, you know, in their values. So divide and conquer takes on a whole new meaning, right? It's not just me divided from somebody else, me divide, you know, groups divided, black and white, you know, black and white, Muslim and Jew, you know, stuff like that. It's dividing the individual person into parts. And to us, they're trying to do that in an extreme fashion, right? Remote neural manipulation. My V2K, right? My V2K has this woman who cares. She's like, stop this. You know, we need to let him go. Just let him, you know, help him, stuff like that. And the guy's like, no, we have to do this, right? It's good cop, bad cop, splitting me so that to give me like, oh, they got some good people. Oh no, this guy's really bad, right? And splitting, and then other things they're doing with remote neural manipulation too, to try and, you know, split us in two. So we've really got to really fight against that. Okay, Wayne says, pray for our boy Jim the mechanic and his wife, very sick currently. And guys, yeah, definitely say a prayer for Jim the mechanic. I'm gonna go. I haven't checked out his channel yet. There's a lot of people who are really sick right now with this targeting stuff. It's getting very, very bad. I just thought that at a certain point, the awareness would come out, and then our attackers would kind of back off. You know, maybe some of the protocols and the contractors would get lighter, but it seems like they're really it's working them up into a lather, and they're very scared of what we can do now. They're more scared than a couple of years back of how we can get this information out. They're going harder. So there's a lot of people suffering, just unbelievable. Odin Wooten says there is a resistance group that plans to take out the 5G towers, but CIA plays the bad guy as well, so it creates a need engineering to broadcast 5G via blimp, like they have been doing in Africa. Yeah. I just think the best way, I don't think blowing up towers or anything is going to be the way to do it. We've got to get the public understanding how dangerous this is for their children. There's so many people with children in the world. We can get them understanding. Everybody's going to say no. Everybody's going to be speaking to anybody in their local government. Everybody's going to be calling the news media. Everybody's going to be calling just everybody and saying, no, we don't want this, right? We've got to get people understanding the reality we really live in, because people have been put into this reality where they think everything's soft and fluffy and they'll be okay. And there's no real wars like in some of these countries like America, Australia, you know, the UK. They're going to be taken care of, and the wars are somewhere else. The wars are here now. The war is everywhere. It's globally in every country. There's not just a war in the Middle East or anything like that. There's people being ripped apart in communities, in their homes, in every country in the world. And people have to understand that it's time. It's time to fight. Like, we don't have it cushy anymore. The pendulum is swung to where some evil people are trying to, you know, implement more than just tyranny, genocide, globally, and the war is here. Yeah. Yeah, I love West Point says wear neodymium magnetic jewelry. It does really work. Yeah, PA, I agree with you. I wouldn't trust this woman any further than I could throw her. And the thing is, it's like, yeah, I know you guys can't hear this very well. So please go and watch it when I put it in the description, but she might believe what she's saying. A certain part of her may not, she may hear rumblings of people being experimented on with directed energy weapons and stuff, but because she wants to keep her job and keep her family, she may just deny that in her head. So I'm not sure, right? Like maybe she really doesn't know all the atrocities going on because she's so compartmentalized. Maybe she does. You know, maybe it's that doublethink thing again. But yeah, I agree with you, PA. I don't trust any of these people in these agencies. Yeah, Deadpool of Gray says stalking is against the law. In joke, yeah. All these things are against the law. The stalking is against the law. Murdering us is against the law. But the problem is there's new rules because of national security. The military-industrial complex and these contractors have made up new rules. Okay, you, the public, you can't go out and murder, but we're the military-industrial complex, and it's a time of great need in the fight against terrorism. So we can murder any families we want. We can do whatever we want, right? We have this upper echelon that isn't necessarily the government. It's this Frankenstein monster of the military-industrial complex. Is way powerful, way more powerful than any government. And they've made new rules, and they're so powerful that people can't really check their power because it's secretive. They've made new rules, and a lot of people think that Trump is. FISA courts are going to bring out records and stuff like that. I really hope so. They have the power, the money, the technology to make people very scared of telling the truth, right? Even people with a lot of power that aren't in the military-industrial complex and could speak out and change this. Like, look what happened to Julian Assange, right? They're destroying the man. And I need to do a video on him. Oh man, Deadpool of Grace says, do you guys ever check out Millicent? They have removed her bone in one shoulder. Oh my God. Yeah, she has implants all over her body. I hope we can, I'm talking to some friends who I guess I can't reveal it right now, but there's some people who have some good leads on maybe getting the implants out. Maybe, and I think that's going to be in other countries. We're going to have to get doctors from other countries to help us with that. Yeah, Autumn says they attack their own military, many of them being targeted. Yeah, you got part of the ex-military actually doing this, and you got part of the ex-military actually being targeted while being homeless, being put out on the street. I think even people who have fought for this country are even at a greater risk of being targeted because they sign a lot of documentation saying that the Army or the Navy or the Marines or whatever pretty much own their ass and can test things out on them and things like that. So I think a lot of military are even in more danger of being targeted when they leave service, maybe in service, right? Because we're having all these mass shootings on Army bases with current military. So I think me and Stacy talked about this, and I think she's right. I'm always saying, I think just ex-military actually carry out the torture and stuff like that. But I think that current military does it too. And I think we're seeing a lot of that at these Army-based shootings. We're seeing current military using these weapons on people who are current military, and then they're coming in and they're shooting up those military bases, just like not Myron May, but the Navy Yard shooter. Was that Myron May? No. Navy Yard shooter was no, I can't remember his name. Aaron Alexis. Yeah, Aaron Alexis. Yeah. Deadpool Grace says, my daughter tried to work. They zap continually, then force speech. Yeah, and that's what I'm really just really in a bad state because my girlfriend Stacy has to work and she's being hit super hard. Her attackers hit her harder when she goes to work. It's hard for her to think, to do what she needs to do. And she can't, obviously she can't, she has to like go there and kind of like stay there because it's far away from her. I don't want to go into too much of her details, but it's nerve wracking for me because I just want to fix it, right? I want to fix it, and I can't even really fix it for myself. I'm getting to a good level where I have some good hours during the day of, it's bearable, but it's still really annoying. So yeah, it's very, very, very horrible. But this is what we got to do. We got to just keep talking about it. We got to keep getting this information out there. And I'm working on some better defensive things. The ZVS driver, I think everybody needs to get it who can. And I'm going to try and get some simpler things. But this is adaptive technology. I mean, like I've known that the whole time, even using these defenses, we've still got to try. They still do work. You lose a little bit of ground. But yeah, these are adaptive technologies, definitely. I think for the external hits and stuff like that, they do use a specific frequency. Well, they change it up, but with electromagnetic frequencies, the best thing is to change how your body is reacting to it, right? So the cleansing baths and the supplements and the grounding to make your skin less of an antenna, those things are going to take you a long way. And then you can use some of the other things like Dave Case's CD, the noise canceling hearing aids for the remote neural manipulation and things like that. Odin Wooten says you can buy RF cloth and make clothes or just wear a Muslim sheet. Just watch out for the rednecks. Yeah, that's it. Like I always, like I wear this stuff and I'll send people pictures of it, and I'm like, this Muslim woman is your friend, like, because I look like a Muslim. I'm wearing it, but I got the hat over it and everything. Jared Ritter says, I'm almost sure that it's just a part of China's social score program. We are being social scored in private. Maybe it's part of the NWO. And I mean, this is the military-industrial complex. They're experimenting on citizens. They're torturing citizens. It's you know, I think a good way to say it is how Brian too says it: training, research, and development. Training, research, and development. They're training these people. Like I have human operators working on automated systems. They're training the human operators to work with AI to target individuals with directed energy. So no, this is the military industrial complexes of every nation, of every country. They're all kind of intertwined in a spider web. But you have, yeah, so it's definitely that. It's definitely that. 100%. It's experimentation and torture. There's many angles to it with the gang stalking and stuff like that. But China's not attacking Americans. Let me, and I say this a lot, the reason why specific countries experiment and torture their own citizens, like, you know, the syphilis stuff, the Tuskegee experiments, MK Ultra and things like that, they keep it in-house, right? So America experiments on its own citizens, because if it experimented on Russian citizens, those Russian citizens would go to their government, and the Russian military industrial complex could read what they're doing to them and could figure out the technology and how far along America is, right? So they keep this stuff in-house. They're you know, we're being experimented on by our own country, but a part of our country that really wasn't elected, nobody really wanted. They're kind of like the big bully that says, we're going to protect you guys. We're going to kill a lot of you to protect you and stuff like that. And we need to fight. And then they create terrorism, kill Americans, false flag things so that people will be scared, and they'll say, look, we got to fight that terrorism, right? So we need more control, and they'll kill more people. But yes, I mean, we are being experimented on and tortured by our own countries, you know. And it's this inner web of international contractors and international DHS fusion centers and things like that too. But it's definitely that, guys. It's 100%. It's written about it. I've pulled up things, people who are like involved in informing the Pentagon about neuroweapons and things like that. They're stating, yes, this country does this. And Barry Trower, you know, Robert Duncan. You got to look at Barry Trower, Robert Duncan, John Hall. You know, this is experimentation and torture by our own countries on us. That definitively 100%. Now, who's doing it to who? Like what contractor's mind? Is it under the NSA? Is it under the DOD? You know, those are still things that we got to figure out. We're on the wrong side of it, so we got to get more information. But 100%, this is the military-industrial complex and agencies torturing and experimenting on you. Different contractors and front companies and things like that. 100%, like 100%. And I've put out all this information on my channel. Hey, politically persecuted Bristol, UK. It says, hi, Wayne, have a place, not moved in yet, and all places controlled and set up for harassment, but not on the street. That's great. That's great, politically persecuted Bristol, UK. Yeah, I've moved 5 times, and it stays pretty much the same, you know. I've learned more about it since moving, you know. Yeah, no whining says UN, Kyle. Yeah, I don't know the UN's involvement. My hope, right, is that the UN is not completely ingrained in this, but I think you're right. I think no whining, I think you're right. And I think this is a you know, part of a UN initiative, right? It's a piece of the puzzle that it is agenda, Agenda 21 and other agendas now for population reduction. That fits into, right, this isn't just one reason that they're torturing and experimenting on citizens. There's many different angles. They're also trying to give people cancer so they can get them off the world too. So there's many, many different angles, and that's what makes it so confusing. And the people who are doing this, they realize that if they wanted to do this and get away with it, they had to make it very, very complicated. And then they have propaganda that if anything is complicated, right, that it's a conspiracy theory. Now, what we have to do, and I'm gonna do some videos on this. There's something called the Overton window. You've heard of Occam's razor, where the simplest solution is the solution, whatever. But when the simplest solution is not likely, then it's whatever is improbable is the likely solution. Now, the Overton window is when your paradigm shifts, right? And that would be us. The Overton window calls on more sophisticated actions to be taken. So we can't just live how we lived before we were targeted. We have to have more sophisticated lives. We have to be smarter. We have to survive different ways. So look up the Overton window, and I'll be doing a video on that, because TI, it's like I didn't know about the Overton window, but I started studying it. Like, I heard about it this year, maybe last year, and I said, that's what I'm doing. That's what I had to do to survive this. So look up Overton window. We have got to live in an Overton window. We can't just live the lives we did before. I don't think anybody can in this world. There is no normal lives anymore, guys. So don't feel alone in that. Okay, so I'm getting way off track.
Affect decisions made by our commanders in the field every day.
Man, I can barely hear. Try a speaker or something. Maybe I could play it on my no. Let's just play it. You guys can watch it, and I'll try and just say important points that she's saying. I'm gonna have to.
I want you to be familiar with the technologies we're developing for them, so that you can support them in the decisions that they have to make. I mentioned that I lead a team of weapons innovators. We make directed energy systems useful for national defense.
We make directed energy systems useful for national defense. So there it is. She works for Airforce Research Laboratory, and she says, we make directed energy systems useful for national defense. These weapons exist. They're used to hit boats. They're used to hit people. They're used to hit people. They're used to hit people. And they're used at different levels in certain wars in the Middle East and certain wars in Africa. They've missed it, people. Like, and I'm talking about they've charred them using directed energy weapon systems. With us, they use them at a specific level to interact with the brain and the nervous system, and then also, do trauma-based torture to clear neural pathways, to make it easier, to make us more tired, and to clear neural pathways so that they can do more neurological manipulation, right? To do more mind control. So I'm going to say the important parts, because I know it must be hard for you guys to hear this.
Probably recall that when I hold this pen in the air, I give it potential energy. And you can't see if there's an X up here. I've even got a target. When I drop it, it has kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is what weapons have used for literally hundreds of thousands of years. Spears and rocks have evolved into bullets, bombs, and ballistic and cruise missiles. They all use that same basic kinetic technology. Directed energy harnesses energy from across the electromagnetic spectrum and focuses it into a useful beam. Lasers are directed energy systems.
So not so crazy anymore, right? I mean, and there's all kinds of information, all types of people like this lady who say directed energy systems, directed energy beams, targeted individuals. Since there were targeted individuals, say I'm being hit by like some kind of beam, it's like a heat beam, right? So it lines up, the logic lines up. There's no chance of it being mental illness. There's no way, there's no probability. That's insane. That's insane to say that people who never knew weapons existed are saying I'm being hit by a heat beam. There's no mental illness that's ever existed like that since the dawn of man. It didn't just crop up with the proliferation of these weapon systems. There's no logic, there's no probability, there's no chance. Negative a million infinity percentage that this new mental illness where people are being hit by weapons that do exist. Just imagine that they were being hit by these weapons that do exist. There's just no probability of that. It's, you know, insane. This is a choice to not believe it for a lot of people. But and then she's saying the kinetic weapons, you know, you drop a potential energy, and they're using. She said something important there. They're using electromagnetic frequencies all along the spectrum, right? And I say that a lot in my videos. That's important to know. That's the adaptive quality of these weapons. The adaptive quality of these weapons is moving up and down the electromagnetic spectrum. That's why some people, you're getting vibrations in your body, right? Your body feels vibrated because your attackers are picking a certain frequency on the electromagnetic spectrum that's going to interact with the heavy metals in your body. It's going to make you feel like you're, you know, moving, or they can actually vibrate your bed with certain electromagnetic fields, right? At certain electromagnetic frequencies. You know, my attacks have taken on the form of like pretty much streams of energy to my head, heat to the back of my neck, and then whatever they're doing to do the remote neural manipulation. And they have made me vibrate at times, but that's why when you cleanse heavy metals and you do the cleansings and stuff, you may feel a lot less of vibration because there's not heavy metals that they can resonate a certain electromagnetic frequency to affect those heavy metals. So that's the adaptive quality of these weapons. That's an important point. The adaptive quality of these weapons is moving up and down the electromagnetic spectrum. So if we can learn more about that, and I'm trying, guys, but I'm like, you know, you can listen to the way I talk, like I have trouble like thinking, and this is pretty complicated stuff. But with the defenses, if we could find something that modulates to different parts of the electromagnetic spectrum, and that's why I feel like I'm grasping for it, right? We're grasping for that, to stack defenses, to do the grounding, to do Dave KCC, to do the ZVS driver. They're blocking certain certain electromagnetic frequencies along the electromagnetic spectrum, but then the attackers can kind of shift it, right? So if you're stacking these defenses that are blocking, you know, this electromagnetic frequency or this part of the electromagnetic spectrum, then they might shift to this and kind of get through, right? So that's the adaptive quality. That's why stacking defenses work so well, because you end up blocking this part of the electromagnetic and this part of the electromagnetic and this part of the electromagnetic spectrum. And then there's like your attackers can go less places. They can switch it less to get the electromagnetic frequency to get through. It's very tough for my attackers to get to me, and it takes a lot of work. They do it. They're there every day. They're using the AI, you know, to kind of see how it can get through, right? The AI is trying to figure out what can hit me through the defenses. And then they're trying to figure it out also manually. So it's like 24-hour-a-day work, right? If they were just shooting an electromagnetic beam at me and it was like one part of the electromagnetic spectrum, I'd be done. I'd have a defense. I'd have one shielding thing, and I could just put that up. And that's what's been a lot of trouble with my parents believing this, is because like I'll use a defense, works very good for a while, but then I'll start hurting again, and they're like, why is that happening? And I'm like, you don't understand, Mom. These are human operators on adaptive systems, right? So it's not just one part of the electromagnetic spectrum coming through. It's adaptive. You know, it's adaptive, and the AI adapts. They manually adapt to. Yeah, I agree with you. BS still and no truth. I'm anti all ideals passed down from Nazi Project Paperclip. Yeah, the means are the ends. Nah, that's funny, Jeff. I'm not gonna read that though. Yeah, Future Knowledge says AI writing algorithms is nothing new. It's nothing new, man. This AI has been around for a long time. Very smart. I mean, people. You know what I thought when I got up this morning? You know, all people who tell the truth, who tell these hard truths, they say people gotta wake up, right? People gotta wake up. I was thinking, people don't just have to wake up. They gotta jump out of bed here. They gotta jump out of bed, because the more powerful these weapons become, the better the AI becomes, the less chance that humanity is going to have for any kind of control. At a community level, just a regular family being able to do what it wants without being manipulated, without being hurt. It's almost unheard of in this world we live in today. And the longer that we let these really, really horrible things go on, it's not just about like you won't be able to maybe control your thoughts. You might not even be able to decide if you're one of the people who gets to live, to be born, but you might be just taken out on a lottery-based system because they need to, cull some people or something like that. So it's very, very important that people not only wake up, but just jump out of bed on this one. And that's what we're shooting for. Not say hi to somebody. Hey, Mike. Mike says, hey, I'm new to Kyle's channel. Whatever happened to the next TI community? I used to watch their videos. The next, is it net? It's net. You're putting a T on the end. You mean next? He did some panels. He is not doing those anymore, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure how he's doing. I hope he's doing well. I hope he's doing well. Maybe he'll come back and do some of those again. Yeah, Future Knowledge says they need to cull themselves first, right? Yeah, and that's that. These people are like, oh yeah, population reduction is cool. Lottery experimentation on citizens around the world, that's cool. And as long as it's not me, right? That's what I mean. They're like, as long as it's not me. They're trying to buy a seat at the table by joining fraternal organizations or joining these agencies. But they're next. They're next. Nobody. When you get a lottery system of just murdering and experimenting on people, no one's safe. No one's safe. Nobody. Maybe the rich families at the top, but I'd say they're in more danger every day that passes by the very, very angry population of the entire world. So they better get this grid in quick, and I don't think they're going to be able to do it. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. I'd like to say that. I'd like to say I don't think they've thought of everything. And I'd like to say that any kind of AI that can think of all the algorithms about human populations are going to move and think and work and deal with things, it just doesn't cut it when you're talking about organic evolution, when you're talking about creation that God has created so brilliantly, infinity times above our levels of thinking. It's not going to work. These people at the top of the pyramid are not going to succeed. However far down the road that it happens, I don't know, but they just can't. Life finds a way. Go watch Jurassic Park. It's a very good message. Life finds a way. Life is organically adaptive. It's way, way smarter and way, way more creative than some kind of computer algorithm, no matter how fast the computer is. I don't care. And I know a lot of people are like, no, computer, hyper game theory, the computer's always going to win because the human gets tired, stuff like that. Maybe one generation, maybe we'll get too tired, but the next generation, they'll know more and they'll be able to fight this better. Maybe this generation, human beings, when we tap into the power of creation, the power of God, are limitless. We're limitless, and that's why they want to pull people away from God. They want to pull people into this. Life is just variables. There's no magic. There's no magic. There's no creation. There's no force of creation. There's no magic. There's just nihilism. We're just specks of dirt, because then when they do that, people lose their power. And then people can't fight extraordinary challenges like this one. We need people believing. Belief is the key. Not the defenses and everything. They work and stuff like that. All these things that we do, the activism, it's so important, and that's what we're doing. But belief, believing that we can make something out of this, trusting in God no matter what. It's everything. It's everything. Start with that. Start with that. No matter how bad you feel, start with that. Even if your mind can't believe because you're so depressed, you've got to start with that. And whatever molecular level or quantum level that you believe on, it will lead you to something. There's an irony to life. There's an irony to life, and God is super powerful if you tap into that. Belief is number one. Belief that we can turn something, we can take this bad and turn it into something good, no matter what happens. So if I die of cancer in a year, God forbid, right? If I die of cancer in a year, I'll be fighting for that year. I'll be trying to help you guys. I'll be loving my family. I'll be loving my girlfriend. Hopefully, maybe we'll be married by then. You know, but I'll win. No matter how painful this gets, I'll try as hard as I can. And I believe in God no matter what happens here. And then maybe this happens, guys. A million things can happen, right? But maybe let's say that, I don't find the right defenses. I get cancer in a year, but then maybe people hear about me later on. They hear about these other targeted individuals. They hear about you guys who are fighting, right? And then the next generation, we become legends. We fought this. We tried to tell people, and something ignites in them, right? And then they have more of a chance to help people, to have a good world. We just don't see what's coming, right? And that's just like one little angle of good. There's millions and millions of angles that God can work through, believing that he will find one for you out of the millions of angles, right? It's the thing. It's the thing in this, guys. Belief. Trusting in God no matter what's happening. Trusting in God no matter what's happening. And I'm telling you, I've already won. Some of you guys, you've already won. A lot of you guys have already won, but I've already won. I've helped people. I love my family. I found good people along the way. I'd say that's victory. I'm in a whole lot of pain, and this sucks. But that belief, right? This is an important thing. I know I'm getting off track, but I got to just say it when it's on my mind. We're fighting a negative cycle, right? Our attackers are putting us in this negative cycle. I say this a lot. Our attackers are putting us in this extremely negative cycle. Do not help them. Do not help them. Don't get yourself in a tizzy and, just think negatively about everything and don't have belief, because you're going to help that cycle to continue, right? They're trying to get us into a negative cycle. Everything, and I know sometimes it seems crazy to think positively about this. It seems insane. Like you're just like, oh, look at the dummy Kyle, thinking that it's crucial. It's crucial to think positively about this, because it's going to help you to fight that negative cycle. You're not going to be helping your attackers or feeding into it. The weapons will affect you less because your resonance will be up. Things resonate, right? And these extremely low frequencies resonate with low frequencies that are created by the brain and the nervous system. Get your frequencies and your resonance up by being positive, by believing. You'll see that buffoonish belief that maybe you thought before, and I know a lot of you guys don't think this way. I'm just talking to people who are very, very pragmatic and are just like, no, this sucks and there is no silver lining. You will be amazed at the positive cycle that you can get in. That belief is so important. Because like if you stay in the negative, and if you help them out in the negative cycle, that's why I was saying earlier, it's important to know the root cause, right? My bad relationship, well, it's not a bad relationship. I still love my dad, but the bad things that go on, it's this targeting. It's not him. It's not me. It's the targeting. We got to get to these root causes and be like, yeah, okay, that person was mean to me. That gang stalker doesn't know, they don't know anything about this. And just let it roll off your back and know the root cause and feel positive about the things that you can affect, right? So let's go on. I hope y'all can hear this a little bit.
Lasers, like the pointer in my hand, are useful for bringing your attention to the awesome artwork behind us. I feel like someone's hearing it. Astronomers use pointers just like this one to point out constellations in the night sky. Heck, some of you probably find directed energy useful for entertaining your pets. Lasers are so cool. They are the stuff of Star Trek and Star Wars, and I'm guessing you're probably pretty comfortable with this technology. While it's a large part of what we do at Airforce Research Lab, not what I work on. The team I lead develops high-powered microwave weapons.
High-powered microwave weapons. Ding, 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 we have a winner here. She's saying at Air Force Research Laboratory, they work on high-powered microwave weapons. Ding, ding, ding. Everybody knows this. It's obvious. Everybody's talking about it. The weapons exist. People, me, you guys in chat, we're being hit with them. We're being hit by the electromagnetic spectrum. Human operators and AI computer systems targeting people, tethering them to directed energy weapons, neuro weapons also. Neuro weapon can be a directed energy weapon, but a directed energy weapon is not always a neuro weapon. High power microwaves hitting us externally, and high power microwaves being used to do remote neural manipulation.
Yeah. I don't mean that we're trying to figure out better ways of throwing ovens out of aircraft doors, because that's back to kinetic. We investigate different frequencies on various items. And microwaves particularly are defined as frequencies with wavelengths ranging all the way from 1 meter down to 1 millimeter.
So 1 meter to 1 millimeter, the waves that are 1 meter to 1 millimeter. And then you've got 5G coming in, which is a millimeter wave, which is so hot and so dangerous. The tinier the wave, the hotter it is, the more dangerous it is, right? And it's like sometimes I'll get lately it seems to be the only thing externally. Well, my attacker can kind of hit me on the back of the neck because I think they're trying to conduct it along to my vestibular system. But I'll start feeling, oh, I feel it right now. Feel heat on my stomach. So it's this wide microwave hit, and that's probably like, not a millimeter, but it's like it's like a half a meter, a fourth of a meter or something like that. But it's actually talking about the wave. It's not talking about the area of the beam. But I'd say if you have a wide beam hitting you, then it's going to be bigger waves, right? And then they create heat on the skin. And with smaller waves, they can pinpoint things inside of the body, organs and things like that, which they do that to all of us too. Yeah.
And there are different effects on different things. But today I'm going to focus on just one, and that's the counter-electronic effect.
So this is interesting. I didn't realize this when I first looked at it. So she's showing right now active denial, non-lethal counter personnel. That's what we're being hit with, but we're being hit with it like 24 hours a day for experimentation purposes, for torture purposes, for mind control purposes. And it looks like it's going to, it's all these right here. I can't read this. I can't read any of these, but it looks like it's these. Hard gamma rays. High frequency. It must, I don't know if it's just all of these right here. Okay, I can't read those. Okay, so it'd be microwaves. No, because we're hit with radio waves. We're hit with radio waves, microwave, and infrared. I think this is what we're being hit. We're getting hit by this part of the electromagnetic spectrum. Although I kind of do suspect, because a lot of times, that could be infrared too. That could be infrasound. Sometimes I feel like my attackers can tell when I'm eating food, they can see my food, my stomach, and things like that. And sometimes I wonder if they are using X-rays, but I don't think so. I'm not sure, but I don't think so. I think it would be more infrasound and ultrasound. Like they're using ultrasound to see food and stuff in our body and specific organs and things like that. But this is, I think, and you can't see where I'm pointing, but from radio waves, microwaves to infrared, that's the part of the electromagnetic spectrum that we're being hit with. And they can go up and down it, and then combine it with other things like sonics and I was going to say something else, but I forgot it.
You know that microwaves are fairly good at transferring energy into water-based things, like your food, over time. What you may not realize is that in thousandths of a second, those same microwaves are extremely good at disabling, disrupting, and if conditions are right, even destroying electronic circuits.
But you heard what she said, microwaves are good for affecting the water in things. Like, so when you put a hamburger in the microwave, it's like heating up the water inside of that food, any kind of hydration, H2O. And think about us, right? We're what is it, 75% water? Human beings are 75% water, so it's affecting the water in our organs, affecting the water in our skin, heating up the water, and we're water-based organic systems, right? That's why I don't drink a lot of water, and I need to fix that. When I felt really bad the other day, being tired, I had a horrible headache, and I got this huge thing of water and just chugged it because I drink cold drinks and all that crap, which I think is part of remote neural manipulation. I think from a young age, like I don't like water, like I don't like drinking water. I'm gonna fix that. I'm drinking tea and stuff like that. I'm fixing it. But when I drank that water, I instantly felt better. It was like the water was going to the places that my body needed it, and the targeting felt better. It felt like they were affecting it less because they're heating up, and the water is like dissipating in our bodies, and it's leaving us all dried out, and the targeting becomes worse because it's able to heat up the tissue in a more extreme level when you're not hydrated. So it's a very simple thing that everybody, that common sense wise, we know, right? We got to keep hydrated, you know.
All of this in half the time it takes to blink your eyes. That super short time span is insufficient to affect a person, but it's more than enough time to affect electronics. I'm from a lab, and we love experiments. So here's an experiment for you. Go home, put a cup of water or your leftovers from last night in your microwave for 1 second. You'll find that 1 second is insufficient time to affect that item, just as it's insufficient time to affect a person. Now, you really don't like your cell phone. Maybe you're in the market for a new microwave.
Hey, and it's really funny. You know, let me tell you guys a funny story. It's not really funny. It's what my attackers, because they're really bad people. I watched this a couple of nights ago, and then yesterday I was texting with Stacy, and my phone just shut off. It just shut off like that, and I had to restart it, but it just shut off. And they were because I had watched this, and it was talking about, you put your cell, she's going to talk about it in a second. You put your cell phone in a microwave and you turn it on for 1 second, it's going to turn your cell phone off. Your cell phone is going to shut down, and you're going to have to do a hard restart on it. And so my attackers were showing me that they could do that to my cell phone the day after I watched this. They've never done that, but they were basically hitting it with directed energy, shutting it off. I think they were probably just putting in a little electromagnetic field around it at a certain frequency, and it shut off. They wanted me to show me they could do that. Now, they've already showed me they can hit electronics, and a lot of you guys talk about that too. You know, they hit your CD players, batteries, electronic devices that you have. Things are always breaking. Maybe your refrigerator, your washing machine, and stuff like that can disable electronic devices very easily with this stuff.
Phone on and put it in your microwave for 1 second. I really do not recommend that you do this, but if you did, you would probably see your cell phone reset itself. You might have to pull it out and do a hard restart on it. It is extremely likely that you will never use that phone to connect to another Wi-Fi network ever again.
I was still able to connect to a Wi-Fi network though. Maybe they were just turning it off by hacking into it. It was definitely my attackers doing it. I don't know.
As our world has evolved, electronics have become pivotal tools, and our adversaries are just as crippled when their computers or cell phones go down as you are. You're in an airport, flight's been delayed, you're frantically trying to make other arrangements, and your smartphone dies. But here's why this technology is really so important. the 3rd of October of 2015, the U.S. Air Force was tasked with disabling a command and control headquarters belonging to the Taliban over in Afghanistan. Through a series of terribly unfortunate decisions, they identified this building as that headquarters. And 3 days later, this is what it looked like. The facility was actually a Doctors Without Borders hospital. And 42 people are reported to have been injured or killed in that attack. The team I lead is developing options. Allow me to share with you a video of a counter-electronic system in action. We call it CHAMP. And while the video you're going to see is sort of cartoonish, I assure you, this is very real.
You know, see, I think that's great. I think that it's great that they could use some of these frequencies to save lives, right? To stop stop real terrorist activity before they happen. They just don't need to murder people 24 hours a day. These weapons, they should be used correctly. There should be oversight of them. Only used on bad people or whatever. You know, this crap about murdering innocent citizens all the time. I have a problem with that. I think this technology is going to be around forever. We just need to get to a point where the public knows about it and they can't abuse it like this. And then I think that things will get a lot better. You know, so it sucks. The topic sucks because they're doing good things with this stuff, but the bad things that they're doing far outweigh any good. The murdering of so many families, the torture of so many families, and it doesn't need to be hidden. You know, they can. All these countries can do good things with these weapons and fight. You know, fight terrorism or whatever. Fight terrorism. Without experimenting on human beings that are innocent. You know, they can experiment in wars. I guess that's bad too. I don't know. Let's move on. That's a complicated thing because there are some like good medical advances. It's just it comes from a poison cup, right? It comes from murdering innocent people. So there's going to be poison in those good things. And obviously, as one person just being targeted, I don't know how to fix that. But I know that awareness is key. Awareness is the key to making things right. That the world understands what's happening. You know.
We developed it between a partnership of the Air Force Research Lab New Mexico, Sandia National Labs, Boeing, and Raytheon. And in 2012,
did y'all hear that?
Over targets of the Utah.
Did you hear the team that they had? Listen to that again.
It's very real. We developed it between a partnership of the Air Force Research Lab New Mexico, Sandia National Labs, Boeing, and Raytheon.
Boeing and Raytheon, I didn't hear the other one. Boeing and Raytheon are like the top contractors for manufacturing these weapons and doing the experimentation on people. So they're doing these other projects too, right? On disabling electronics, you know, helping the military and stuff like that. But they're crucial in manufacturing weapons and actually doing some of the experimentation on personnel, which is us people, 24 hours a day, right?
And in 2012, we flew it over targets at the Utah Test and Training Range. The system worked exactly as we predicted it would. So in this video, you'll see that the Air Force has once again.
Yeah, Future Knowledge says long history of non-consensual human experimentation. That is correct. Almost in every country, there's been so much non-consensual human experimentation. The Tuskegee experiments, MK Ultra, many other radiation experimentation on people without their consent, without their knowledge, you know, just to see what happens. This has happened throughout our history. You know, I don't see why people are so surprised or in disbelief that, you know, when the military-industrial complex can get away with something and use the public's ignorance, that they're going to do that, because you know they brainwash a lot of these people in the military-industrial complex. My attacker, they brainwash them into thinking the means justify the ends. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, even if the few are very innocent and very good for their communities. It's for the master plan. It's for big groups of people to be safe, and they they barter our lives. You know, they don't sacrifice their own. They sacrifice people who never agreed to be sacrificed, right? So it's like a brainwashing thing. Rick M says, yes, Tanya, I love this channel. I don't care to give these devils 1 second of my energy. Yeah, always, the thing is, always be thinking of solutions. How do I make myself feel better? How do I make other people feel better? How do I remain positive? Like, and it sounds so crazy, I know, to some of you guys, because you're in so much pain, and it's just like, it's unbelievable, and it feels like you can't do it. Just try and start that cycle. Try and get it going. And you need God for that. You're going to need God. There's a creator. And I don't know all the details about how he works and everything like that. I've found in my life that he works very ironically. I find that in the darkest situations, the greatest things happen to me to show me how awesome life is. I've seen so many great people in this situation. I never knew that I was this strong. And I'm not trying to brag. I'm really not trying to brag, but you do brag on yourself a little bit. Look what you're going through. Think about what you're going through. Brag about yourself. We have this perception bestowed upon us, right, by people who aren't going through this, like that we're mentally ill, that we're selfish, that we're lazy, whatever. The reality is that you're going through the hardest thing that any human being has ever gone through in this world. Give yourself some credit. Pat yourself on the back. You're awesome. You are strong. You know, other people can think whatever the hell they want. And, I mean, we're trying to change that and give them awareness, but you know what I mean. Like, people can say that we're mentally, you're very, very strong. You are a hero. You're a hero. You've gone through these hard things. Think about it. Think about it in that positive way. How much have you survived? You know, how much more can you do? And I kind of lost my train of thought there because it was something really important. Yeah, Yvette says this evil needs to end. Yeah, this evil needs to end. And I think that we need to trust in God for his plan. I think that sometimes really horrible things happen on this earth. God uses it to strengthen human beings. I've seen that. I don't understand every facet of life, right? There are some 2-year-olds that die of cancer. I don't understand it all, but I've seen that, like, with God, sometimes the hardest things in our lives, we look back on them and say, what would life have been without that? You know, it's ironic. It's ironic, but it takes a push. It takes pushing. It takes thinking of solutions. It takes fighting. It takes resistance. Resistance to the pressure, resistance to the murder, resistance to the torture. It takes that willful choice every day. And guys, I don't know, I was going over in my head the other night and I was like, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging ever. So I'm trying to be very careful about that. We need to stay humble too. But I was just like, you know, even with all this mind control and remote neural manipulation, the way my attackers are hurting me, I've always been able to make a choice. Even when my mind is all, you know, tied up, right, with the remote neural manipulation, it's hard to make decisions, not choices. But I can always make that choice to do what's right. I can always make that choice even when I'm not feeling positive, right? Maybe we can't feel positive, but we can make positive choices, and that's going to feed into how we feel positively. So if you can't feel positive in the moment, you want to take positive actions. It's gonna cause a feedback loop, a positive feedback loop to fight against how horrible and negative this is. And you know, I go back and forth sometimes, and I'm like maybe some people they're so remote neural manipulated. They can't make, it's like they're in so much, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't think that, you know, and I think there's like people who have severe, like, how do you say it the correct political way? Severe mental retardation or something like that. There's specific situations where there's people that are a little bit more helpless that need help. But with us, I just feel like no matter how bad you're feeling, no matter how bad your mind's tangled up, you can always make these positive choices that can get you into this positive cycle. And I've been able to do it, and I've been targeted. I've been ripped apart by this stuff. Emotionally, maybe not spiritually. Spiritually, I've grown only stronger. But when you're ripped apart emotionally, mentally and physically, it's harder to connect with that strong spirituality, right? You feel disconnected. I've always been able to make a choice to do what's positive, and it's made the difference in everything. It's made the difference in everything. Um, I think the thought that the correct thought, right? I'm not judging anybody going through this. I don't think I would ever judge anybody going through this targeting and say you're doing it wrong, right? This is a completely new challenge. This is hard, and people need to help us. That's the correct thought. But I think that we've got you got to have the thought of being a survivor and not a victim. That's going to be your positive push, right? You need God, and you need to think of yourself as being a survivor, being solutions driven, and knowing that your life is precious and can affect people in a positive way. Sometimes I think that we get into this mindset of people need to help us. Like, I'm dying, I can't do anything about this. If you stay in that thought, you're going to stay in that negative cycle. You're going to stay in that negative cycle. And trust me, guys, I don't do things perfectly. I falter, I get depressed, I get doubtful about things. Trust me. But it's so important that we go in that direction, right? It's crucial that we go in that direction. How you think, how you connect spiritually to God and say, God, help me to make the right choice. Help me to stay positive. It makes all the difference in the world. Because if you help with this cycle, if you help with it, and you're like, people need to help me, and like, this is just too hard. It's just too hard, and it's impossible, and there's nothing that can be done about it. Well, that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. The mind, the soul, those things have power undreamt of that science doesn't know enough about yet. And sometimes when you make decisions, like even when it's not fair, right? I'm not judging anybody. I'm seriously not, because I just hear a lot of TIs and they're like, this is friggin' impossible. I don't have any money. I can't do this. Just start small. Start small with what you can do today. Like, what can I do that's good today? What can I do that's positive in my life? Can I get some happy moments? Can I just help people? Today, there was this kid buying like some snacks at the convenience store. I went to go get electronic cigarettes and an energy drink, and it made me feel really good. And I'd kind of stopped doing this for a while, right? I'd always give money to homeless people and stuff like that. But I got angry. I'm still dealing with some anger, right? I got angry. I'm like, well, I'm not giving some home. They're not being hit with directed energy weapons. They're in a better place than me. Why do I need to give them money? Nobody's helping me out. And I kind of stopped giving homeless people money. I stopped helping people. But I've gotten through that, and I've gotten back to where it's so important. Those moments when you help other people, it's going to lift you up and put you in a positive state. I ended up buying the kid his gummy fruits or whatever, his snacks. And I said, you just put your money away. I got this for you. It made me feel so good to do that kind act, right? It made me feel so good. So those things, don't shy away from those things. Don't shy away from being a good person. Don't say, well, I'm not getting help. Why should I help anybody else? It's gonna keep you in that negative cycle. Break through it and say, I'm gonna help people even though people are shitting on me. The world's shitting on me, my family's shitting on me. They all think I'm gonna help people anyway. I'm gonna do what's right. And it's gonna carry you. It's gonna carry you. I promise. Do it in the name of Jesus Christ. Do it with that connection to God. Things are only impossible until they are not impossible, and it's gonna get you on an uptick. We need to be on the uptick always, because we're fighting a very negative cycle. If you can get on the uptick, we don't have to make all of this disappear, which that's what we're going for, right? But if you just start kind of whittling away at it, you'll be amazed at and it's just gonna shoot up, right? It's gonna shoot up. You're gonna whittle away at a little bit of it. Grind it in those parts where it's really hard to be nice. It's really hard to do what's right, because of this. And you're going to find amazing turnabout, amazing pressure release, And we got to do all the stuff like defenses. We got to do all the stuff like cleansing, the right kinds of foods and supplements and things like that, which, you know, I'm horrible at. I eat horrible and everything, so I've got a lot of work to do too, working out and things like that. But I do feel like something God gave me, and it's God, right? Something God gave me. I'm not going to ever give up, and I don't care what happens, and I don't care where the world turns, right? I don't care what the you know, the tyranny and where the world goes. I know what I'm going to do, you know, and that's so crucial, and it gives us the probability of maybe the world not going into complete evil and darkness, and there being a way to turn the tables. It's the only way to get probability of that. Oh, and I hate this lady. I'm just joking. I don't know her. Okay, so let's read this. Mission: disable enemy command and control center and chemical biological weapons plant in the urban environment. Solution: deploy aerial high power microwave system to counter enemy electronic and communication infrastructures. So deploy aerial high power microwave system. So it's either a drone that they're shooting. This is crucial, right, guys? They're talking about like a drone or a plane that has, you know, what's it called? I was saying it earlier. The phased arrays or magnetrons or whatever type of technology that they're, you know, hitting people with these high power microwaves. So us targeted individuals, when we're saying, yeah, drones can direct microwave energy to us. Here it is. Here's the proof. They're using a deploy aerial high power microwave. So these microwave weapons can definitely be placed on drones or planes. Now this one was for a mission where they're hitting electronic systems, right? But they can also do this to hit people, and they are.
We choose to use a champ-like weapon.
Okay, so it's like a U2.
And drops off the cruise missile, which houses that high-power microwave system. The missile flies over the city and targets the command and control center, leaving it black.
Oh, that's even worse. That's even worse. I didn't watch it till here, guys. I'm just going to be honest about that. I just watched the first half, and then I was just going to go through it with you guys. That's even worse. They're shooting a missile out of a U-2, and then the missile can actually direct the microwave energy. So think about how easy it is to direct energy from a drone or a helicopter or a plane, right? Now, I think with us, you know, it's the infrastructure that they're using, these directed energy weapon systems, using the infrastructure. Drones, planes, and things like that are used as stopgap. They're used to intensify it, or when everything else isn't working too good. However, with some contractors attacking some targeted individuals, they probably are focusing on drone attacks. And I think that's why we have so many targeted individuals saying, I'm being, you know, targeted by drones. I think I'm being targeted by the infrastructure, but there might be certain contractors under the DoD that are specifically focused on how do we hit somebody with a drone all the time, right? So we've got that kind of complication there, that difference of what different contractors are trying to do to people.
Production plant. As the system flies off, the people are left to wonder, why have my communications stopped? Why did my computer stop working? How come I'm not producing my weapons? All of this without leaving a single smoking hole, without harming a single.
Hey, I want to read that, Yvette. So Yvette's saying something positive that's come out of this. Yvette says, the one good thing about this for me is definitely allow me to come out of my shell. I would have never before chatted in a chat room like this. That's great, Yvette. We got to look for those positives. Sometimes it seems insane, right? Because it's all so negative. It's ripping us apart. You look for those positives. You stack those positives up, right? And in that, for me too, I want to add to what you said. I'd never have been on video talking to people. I am like when I'd have to go up in school in front of the classroom and give a report or something like that, I could barely speak. My throat would close up, and I hate public speaking. Now I can get on a video and talk to you guys because I've done it so much, and it's about such an important topic. It's shown me things. It's made me do things that I never would have done. You know what I'm saying? So we look at those positive things. What is God pushing us towards? because we live in this time, right? We live in this time where this happened, where evil people made this decision. But what is God pushing us towards? And it's kind of like you're being squeezed through a tunnel, right? You're being squeezed through a tunnel. Don't stop. Don't stop, because you'll just sit in that tunnel. You push on through. God's gonna push you on through, and you're getting stronger. You're gonna get out at the other end, you know, in whatever way. I guess that's not a good metaphor, but that's really good, Yvette. Just start stacking up all the positive things in your life. How strong you've become. Maybe how you see life. Maybe how you've let go of smaller things. You know, you've let go of things, that little details and stuff like that. I know that it's helped me to see in life, if we don't look at the root cause of a sickness or a problem, then things always get worse. People always get sicker, right? And so it's helped me, like when I have negative interactions with people or something like that, because of the targeting, I don't blame them and I don't blame myself. You know, like my dad, we have some kind of he's a great dad. I don't mean to crap on my dad. He's been targeted and almost killed. So, but that's the point, right? That's the point. I look at how much I love him, and I see that this is the root cause. The targeting is the root cause, not because my dad hates me. You know, you may be sitting there as a targeted individual, and you're like, my family, you know, treats me like crap. They're hurting me. What if this targeting didn't exist, right? Everything would be fine. You maybe have some regular problems with your family. Look at the root cause of what's causing it. Blame that root cause. And then these little details, all these details that accumulate around the root cause, this targeting, let them go. Let them go as best you can, right? My dad said to me, he was like, we are who we are. You know, saying it to me. He didn't mean to hurt my feelings, but it really hurt my feelings for like a day. I came inside and I just couldn't do anything. I was so depressed. But after a day in my head, I said, you know, if this targeting wasn't happening, he would be very proud of me. And if he knew that this was happening and I was doing it, he'd be very proud of me. And so you got to let those things, some of those things go, and ask for God's help. Ask for God's help. That he help you to let some of those things that really hurt from other people who don't know about this. The root cause is that this is happening and it's hidden. This targeting is happening and it's hidden. So we can really get strong in some very ironic ways, guys. Be an anomaly and understand that we're in this time period where this is happening, and we've got to look to God and say, God, where are you pushing me, even with this? Because our lives are precious. We have a destiny. This is part of our destiny. Unfortunately, this is part of our destiny. And we've got to embrace it. Not embrace being attacked, right? Not say, oh, well, we're just being attacked and this is just it. You know, fight it, but embrace that it's happened. I think that I've done that a lot in my life. I'm like, I wish this wasn't going on, and if it wasn't going on, I'd be doing this or this. And when after many years, after saying this is happening and I'm going to do the best I can from here, it makes you're able to do more incredible things once you accept that this happened, that this is happening. It doesn't always have to happen, right? We're going to fight it. We're going to fight against it. We're not accepting this as our fate to always be targeted. But what can we do with this? What does God want us to do with this? And you look in your heart, you will do amazing things. You will do amazing things. It might not be making a YouTube video. It might not be doing a bunch of YouTube videos or something like that. You know, it might be doing something else. It might be creating awesome art or something like that, like paintings from your pain or things like that. It might be, you know, writing a book. It might just be helping out. I don't know, helping out at a community. I don't, you know what I'm saying. It could be anything. But ask where God's pushing you. Where is this driving you? Knowing that this is happening and you're a good human being, where is this driving you to go? You and God got to figure out. You got to get with Him. But the bottom line on that, guys, is you can't do this without faith. You cannot do this without belief in a power higher than us. It cannot be done. This cannot be fought without it. I'm just going to say that bottom line, like for people who are maybe atheists, but you know, if you believe in something bigger than yourself, you have a good start. You have a good start. But when you're a nihilist and you're like, it's all just variables and we're just here from a bunch of variables and really no reason and nothing really means anything, that's going to decrease your probability of doing anything with this by a whole lot. It's very ironic how people think that people with faith in God, belief in God, are kind of frou-frou buffoons or whatever. That some people do. Some people do think that. It's very, very ironic to me, because the most practical way to live is to know that there is something greater than us. There's something beyond what we've learned. It's the most practical way to survive. And if it's the most practical way to survive and it gives us strength, then it must be real. You know, and that's not my only reason for having faith in God, in the name of Jesus Christ. I mean, that's not the only reason, but it's very ironic. It's very ironic how smart Christians are, how smart spiritual people are, to know that it's necessary to get through life's complications and challenges through faith and belief. It's the only way. It's number one. That's where you start. I'd say before you get Dave, well, go ahead and get Dave Case's CD, do his EVS driver, but you know, I'd say it's more important to really focus on that belief. I think you know, these things intertwine, right? You may need to start feeling better before you can really plug into that and get the willpower to really believe. You may need to make yourself physically feel better, kind of intertwined, right? But I'd say the belief part's what's going to keep you afloat through the really, really tough times. And that's kind of what we have all the time as target individuals. Really, really tough times. So results: successful mission, command communications disabled, weapons production disabled, and harmful agents contained. So I mean, that's just, it's showing proof that, you know, with aerial constructs such as missiles, drones, and everything, high-powered microwaves can be shot, can be transceived and sent with different kinds of devices in them. It's not conspiracy theory at all. It's just, it's the way things work. Yeah.
Stop our adversaries without harm.
Yeah, and Deb says, I have met the bestest people in the world. I have too, Deb. You're one of them. You're one of those bestest people in the world. I've never met such strong people who keep going no matter what. It's so ironic that this program, oh, it's going to take care of the unwanted people or the people, you know, whatever. And it's just the best people in the world with the best spirits that want to help people, that want to help their communities. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason why, like, we're some of the best people in the world. Because people who are the best people in the world, we fight for what's right. We don't go along. We don't just go along with what's bad. And that's happened to me too, Deb. That's why, like, when I can't even think, I get on these live streams because y'all are awesome. Like, y'all are so strong. Targeted individuals are so strong. And I hate seeing people, like, and I hate seeing such strong, good people because of physical things that are so pressing and horrible and evil. You sometimes get weak. Like, I mean, me too, right? I'm not saying, I just hate seeing people who are so strong face something so challenging that they just feel weak. And that's an illusion, you know. We've got to help each other to realize how strong we are. That's a tough thing. You know, there's just so many targeted individuals that I think that if they just made the choice to get in this positive cycle, to really give it to God, they just do so much better. And a lot of TIs are so strong, like, you know, my girlfriend's working and like doing her thing. She's very, very smart and strong. You know, there's just some TIs that, like, I saw a TI in a TC's chat room saying that, you know, they were going to go ahead and they weren't going to give these people what they want anymore, and they were thinking about committing suicide. And that's very sad. That's going to give these people what they want. And I could tell that person was a strong person because the situation was so astoundingly awful. This strong person thought they were weak, you know, maybe didn't think they were weak, but was making the wrong choice. Life is so precious, guys, even in this situation, especially in this situation, But you guys know what I mean. We got to help each other be strong. I've met the strongest people in this too, Deb, and we can give each other strength. You can see that sad situation that I sometimes see with TS, sometimes even in myself, a very strong person being weak, appearing weak, right? Because nobody's weak dealing with this. Like I said, I don't judge any targeted individuals, and I haven't perfected anything. I've done okay to survive and stuff like that. And I want to, you know, just give y'all everything that I know that's got me through this. But that's the most painful thing. Seeing people who are so strong, could help the world, could do anything they wanted to, because they're being murdered all the time. It's like they feel weak. You know, me too, and me too, all the time. So we've got to lift each other up. There's strength in us. I even think that it's beyond just because we've gone through this practical level, we're strong. I really think that it's divine. Like it's divine. Like I really think there's a divine order to the universe. God uses evil to strengthen good, and I think that we have been chosen. I really do. You know, sometimes in my scientific mind, I'm like, this just kind of happened, and I don't know, we were just born in this time, and that's just kind of how things work. I think this is divine. It's divine. We were chosen. What we do with that, how we connect with God, is our choice, because free will has some kind of funky, you know, funky standing in this universe of how things work with free will. It's just how things work. But I do think that God, everybody who's targeted, God knows that you're strong enough to do something with this. And maybe, you know, you might die of cancer, I might die of cancer. You know, we don't know what's going to happen with these weapons, but to do something good with this. What's that thing from Gladiator, right? That saying from Gladiator, I'm going to nerd it up for a second here, which is, what we do now will echo through eternity. Echo through eternity to everybody else. These evil people can't wipe away all knowledge. They can't do it. Life will find a way. People will get away from this. Make, you know, even if this proliferated, I'm not going to go into that, but life will find a way. You know, they can't just make people wanting to do good disappear. It's not possible. It's what people are. It's our instincts to preserve life. The craziest psychopaths want to destroy things. They're trying to make that more of an instinct on people and brainwash people to do that. But there will always be the majority of life that wants to protect life. It's part of our instinct. It's part of why God put us on this earth, you know, so that they can't destroy that legacy that we'll leave. We'll leave it with our hearts. We'll leave it with our words. We'll leave it with our mind. You know, cannot take that away. I heard another good quote too. I'll just throw this one out there. No one can take away your hope except you. These people can't take away your hope. They can make you feel weak. They can hurt you and stuff like that. There will always be hope, especially now. We're getting along. We're moving along so rapidly and exponentially. So everybody, hold on tight. You know, but no one can take your hope away from you except you. So just keep that in mind.
There are a lot of challenges to adopting new technologies. I mean, let's face it, change is hard, right? Some of these systems can be kind of pricey, but we are working on ways to make them more affordable. A particular challenge for microwave weapons is it effective? I mean, when you leave a building in rubble...
So think about what she just said. I don't know if y'all can hear it. She said, high-power microwaves, biggest question, is it effective? Training, research, and development. Why are they hitting us? It's a part of the angle. Is this effective? Is it gonna do what we want it to do? you know, we need to see if that remote neural manipulation is going to get a person to do what we need them to do, or you know, cause morbidity, mortality, if it can destroy relationships, weapons of mass disruption, disrupt relationships. Is it effective? And you keep using it to see that. So that's just a little angle, right? They need to see if these weapons, how effective they can be, and then their development, right? Developing the weapons to be as effective and as affordable and as mass produced as they can make them. Scary thought, but that's an angle of it, an angle of our torture. So she's talking about you know, high power microwaves, effectiveness on electronics based systems, but then in her little slide she showed anti-personnel weapons. So she's in the compartment of Air Force Research Laboratory, and Air Force Research Laboratory is not the only game in town, right? It's not the only agency using high-powered microwaves, directed energy weapon systems, neuroweapons. She's in a compartment that's using them on electronic-based systems, but then they have a compartment in Air Force Research Laboratory, which is working on partnerships with Boeing and Lockheed Martin. Like she said, on this mission, they're working with contractors like that to experiment on us and torture us. And then in other countries, probably they have those contractors. Probably those contractors are international by now, but then they have their version of Air Force Research Laboratory and things like that, working with different agencies to do this experimentation, to do this torture. And Air Force Research Laboratory is just one agency within the United States that does this stuff. There's many more. There's many more under the Department of Defense, NSA, and then all these contractors, right? And then the CIA, contractors under the CIA. It's contractors to use these weapons because they're the newest, most powerful weapon. They've got to find out how to mind control people with it, how to hurt people with it, how to disable people with it. And then there's, you know, the whole, you know, proliferation so that they can gain more control over the public's mind too, which goes far beyond what she's speaking on. It's a very, very little small compartment of these directed energy systems.
So that whatever was going on before in that building, probably not going on now. But when you do no damage, how can you tell? We're working on solutions to that too, and we will solve those problems.
No, we're gonna solve this. You guys have all the resources and crap like that to find out how to use these weapon systems better, but guess what? We're gonna, you know, the people that are really good, right? Maybe if these people would have just used these on terrorists and stuff like that to disarm them or disable them, real terrorists they need to stop in the acts of war. But what they did is they attacked, researched, experimented, and tortured good, smart citizens. We're going to find better ways to defend this stuff, to make it negligible. To in the future, somebody's going to have to volunteer to be affected by a neuroweapon, or if they're not, there will be something very easy to block it. And that's what they've done. They've screwed themselves over because these algorithms twist in on themselves. Be aware of that, guys. You know, we think of like these AI systems and how they can just figure anything out. They can't. Life is so complicated. It's way more complicated than a computer algorithm. When organic material can actually shift and adapt, it's way more complex and adaptive than some kind of AI. I just truly believe that. I'm not just saying it. And I mean, like if you're sitting there and AI is hitting you with a weapon, your organic systems are going to break down. It's going to be a lot harder. It's harder for a human being to last with the hyper game theory, but there's ways past the hyper game theory. Brian too always says that don't play the game, or play a different game. I say play a different game. Because when you're living, you have to be doing something, right? You can't just stop everything you're doing. So play a different game than the hyper game theory wants you to play. Become an anomaly, switch things up, do things you never thought you could do, right? So it's trying to predict who you were, become new. And we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to change. It's like number one, with God, we adapt, we change. You can't be who you were before this. And just because the hyper game theory, the AI is going to be able to predict everything you're going to do, You got to change. We've got to become more sophisticated as organic beings. We've got to become more sophisticated spiritually, you know. And when I say this stuff, guys, I'm talking to myself. I'm not saying I perfected any of this stuff. I go through serious depression, doubts. I make mistakes and things like that. But we need to change and become more sophisticated. And life will do that automatically to challenges like this. Algorithms can never beat God. They can never beat the most powerful creator of the universe. You know, cannot beat that. AI algorithms, it's like that thing, the bat. You put your hand on the bat. AI algorithms put their hand on the bat. They kind of overcome you, but then God puts his hand. God takes the bat and just hits it just destroys the AI. It's a horrible metaphor.
Whether or not using these systems aligns with our morals, values, and ethics as a culture. Only you can decide.
Wow.
But I want you to know, these systems are not.
Did you hear that ironic thing she just said? I didn't hear what.
Aligns with our morals, values, and ethics as a culture. We will solve those problems. Problems that only you can solve. Whether or not using these systems aligns with our morals, values, and ethics as a culture. Only you can.
But we don't get to decide. That's the thing. I mean, we're fighting to have that decision, but she's saying only the public can decide if we use these weapons and the morals and values. Who's she talking to? She should be talking to the people who are murdering citizens with this, who are torturing. It doesn't align with our morals, our values. It aligns with Ted Bundy's morals and values. That's what these programs and experimentation and torture, it co-aligns with mass murderers and serial killers' values. That's not the values that human beings have ever had on a regular community level, is the values of Ted Bundy. And that's what these programs have the values of. So she better be talking to her superiors, and she better, if she knows about this, she better speak out for her family and for our families. These people who are in these other compartments who know that they're hitting human beings with them have a moral right to speak out about this. So she better not, you know, she's saying if it aligns with our moral, you speak out about this if you know people are being hit with them. It's so ridiculous.
But I want you to know, these systems are not designed to maximize damage to the way our adversaries go about harming us and minimize damage to their person. I know that the morals, values, and ethics problem is real.
Yes.
Because in early 2000s, my organization developed a different technology. We called it active denial. We chose a millimeter wave frequency because we want you to feel it. That system, the signal penetrates your skin to the depth of about 3 sheets of paper thick, no deeper. It causes you to feel hot.
At least she's talking about it.
The intent to get people's attention and have them stop doing whatever it is they're doing. So I've got another experiment for you. Make a pizza. When you preheated your oven to 450 or 500 degrees, and you go to pop that sucker in, you open up your oven door, and that wave of heat comes out and hits you in the face. Instinctively, close your eyes and turn your head, and the feeling passes. Well, you just basically felt the active denial beam.
Oh, wait. I'll do you one better, lady. I'm sitting here, my back has a stream of energy going into it, and everywhere I go, it's motion compensating. It's motion compensating by an automated system. The stuff around my head to do remote neural manipulation is also motion compensating. So I can't just turn my head and it stops. They're doing this to people 24 hours a day where people can't get out of it. They can't get out of the stream of energy because it's motion compensating by automated systems where the attackers, the human operators, just sit there and they don't have to do much manual work to target us because the automated systems do the job for them. This is crazy. This is crazy. Y'all know it. It's obvious. I'm sorry. Like, I'm getting kind of upset. At least she's talking. I didn't watch till the end. She's actually talking about it. And think about that, where you see those active denial systems hitting people in the fields, and they're like, ooh, and they get out of the way. targeted individuals, you want to call us crazy and selfish and weak. We deal with that 24 hours a day, and it's motion compensating on us, and we still fight. We still talk about this. We still try and do what's right. You want to call us weak. If you're not a targeted individual, you are dead wrong. You're dead wrong. Like, I mean, we deal with that for decades of not being able to get out of it and trying to get defenses and shielding to do it. Insane clown world. Insane clown world. She's right, though. Our morals and values and ethics of the regular population have to align with how they use these weapons. And that's our fight. That's our fight. The awareness, and then committees, committees, law enforcement, all these agencies, instead of participating in it, enforcing the law so that it's not just used on innocent civilians. So it's so simple. It should have been done from the beginning, but that was the plan, that nobody would know about it, and they could test out these weapons for as long as possible until the public kind of knows about it, and then they have to make a rule book about how it can be used, and people will be very aware of it. That is coming. When, I don't know, but it's not an if, right? I always say it's not an if, it's a when. It's a when.
Because I've been hit by it.
Will the public know about it?
It's uncomfortable when you are in the beam. The sensation stops.
So much more than uncomfortable. So much more than uncomfortable. It is unbearable. It is it destroys our organic systems. Some of us can't even think sometimes. It's not just uncomfortable when these things are trained on a human being, and I'm talking about like targeted on a human being 24 hours a day with maximum intensity sometimes, to make people feel like they're having heart attacks or to burn their organs. This is very serious. This lady, she has to know. She has to know. She can't work with these weapon systems and not know what's going on in the world.
Unfortunately, we have done an insufficient job of educating the public about that technology. And misperceptions about it have so far created an environment that has discouraged our commanders from choosing to use that technology operationally.
Bull crap. That's a lie. She's lying. She is lying right now. She says it's discouraging because the public doesn't. It's discouraging her commanders to use these weapons operationally. Bull crap. They're using it operationally on innocent citizens every day, 24 hours a day, all around the globe. How does she not know that? How does she not know that? How are these people lying like this? Discourage it. Because the public doesn't know about it, it discourages them from using it. Bull crap. Because the public doesn't know about it, they can just use it any way they want and destroy lives and actually do remote neural manipulation where they're getting signals from the brain. How are these people so clueless?
But I ask you to think about whether or not it's more aligned with our morals to shoot guns at a car that's perhaps erratically approaching an entry control point. Or is it more aligned with our values to make that driver so uncomfortable that they're no longer interested in heading toward that gate? Is it more moral to us to shoot bullets at protesters on our borders who are throwing rocks at our border patrol agents?
Well, number one is that, you can't just talk about it like, oh, is it more moral just to make the driver sick with an active denial system? People have to know how this stuff is set up, right? They have to know about the infrastructure that can remotely tie directed energy to somebody's freaking head and nervous system. They have to know about the remote capabilities of it. So start there. Start with anybody with an integrated weapons platform can tap into this infrastructure of microwave towers, over-the-horizon radar, ground radar, drones, satellites to direct it all. We've got to tell people how it's being used first on people 24 hours a day before you start talking about morals, how it's morally better to hit people with microwaves for a couple of seconds instead of shooting them with a gun. How ridiculous. I should have listened to the whole thing because I'm getting angry. Whatever.
Or maybe with active denial.
I am angry.
The choice is more aligned with our values. Only you can decide.
No.
But let's not allow.
We're not deciding. She's like, only you can decide. She's talking to a bunch of people in the public. No, we're not deciding anything. The military-industrial complex is murdering people left and right and torturing them and experimenting on them without our say-so. We didn't volunteer for this. Nobody, the public just calls us mentally ill. The morals thing has been thrown out the window. This is ridiculous what she's saying. She's so smart and works for Air Force Laboratory, and I'm sitting here with more knowledge than her about what's being done with these integrated weapon systems. That's an inverted world. That's the inverted world that we live in, that people, I'm not a scientist or anything, and they're not really listening to me. And this lady who works at Air Force Research Laboratory doesn't know anything about what's really happening. Start with updating the public on what they're doing to innocent people all around the world. Maybe some people like you should back us up when we're trying to get help. When people are calling us mentally ill, it'd be nice if you could step in and say, wait, these weapons do exist. What are you going to do about it? It'd be nice to get some help from some of these people like Dr. James Giordano and this lady and people who work with these high-powered microwaves. You know, I guess they speak out about it. I guess the awareness in teaching people about it is good, but more and more people are working with these things. They hear people like us saying we're being hit with them, and they don't feel moral obligation. They talk about morals and ethics and how we're going to use these weapons in the future, and they don't feel a moral obligation to maybe help the innocent citizens that are being tortured and teared apart, and their families are being torn apart 24 hours a day. Give me a break. Give me a break.
Denial's fate to happen with our high-power microwave counter-electronic systems. Had the commander in Afghanistan had the choice to use a high-power microwave system, had they still mistakenly identified that hospital as their target, 3 days later, the facility would have looked like this. And I guarantee you 42 people would not have been injured or killed. President John Kennedy said, I look forward to a great future for America. A future in which our country matches its military strength with our moral restraint.
That's not what's happening.
Its wealth with our wisdom. Its power with our purpose.
Is she insane?
And I need your help. Use your power to create for our children a future to which President Kennedy and we all aspire.
Is she insane? Like it's already that's not being done. Already there's no wisdom in this, and people are being experimented on worldwide. So it's time to pull it back and say all this unwise murdering and satanic murdering needs to be stopped. She's saying we just need to be careful what we do, like it hasn't happened yet. That's insane. All right, guys. So I just wanted to show you all that. I'll put it in the description whenever the live stream pulls up, but it's just, you can go to TED Talks and go to the power and promise of high power electromagnetic weapons. I hate the title. Power and promise is not what I've seen from any of this. And it's Mary Lou Robinson. And I'll go ahead and put it in there. I'm gonna watch this other one, this extreme manipulation of electromagnetic waves with metamaterials. I'll click on it real quick. I gotta go back to this one. Extreme manipulation of electromagnetic waves with metamaterials. So, future knowledge, can you watch this too? Can some of you guys who are more technical, you know, watch this one too? Extreme manipulation of electromagnetic waves with metamaterials. I'll put this in the description too. I'll probably do a video on this if it's good, you know, either this week or next week. Okay, guys, so I just wanted to show you all that. What did y'all think? Wayne Moore said I missed most of that. Did y'all not hear it? I'll put it up and you guys can go watch it. But she was talking about the active denial system at the end. Hey, Ella Advocate. Oh, I Love West Point said, rest in peace, Lieutenant Colonel John Kincaid, targeted individual murdered in staged plane crash. Yeah, Future Knowledge says she's insane. She's insane. That lady has to know that they're experimenting with these weapons on people all over the world. She has to know if she works for Air Force Research Laboratory and she's working with high-powered microwaves. Like, she's lying. Like, she's lying. She's not, I don't think she's insane. She's just a liar, man. These people just, words don't mean anything to them. Like, words don't mean anything to evil people. And a lot of these evil people, it's like, they're taught in these fraternal organizations and stuff and these agencies that you're required to lie. Just the worst deceit and evil ever. Yeah, PA says, unfortunately, she's totally insane, Kyle. Yeah, we need some people like that to maybe not be insane and like actually maybe help us and say like, yeah, these weapons do exist. These people aren't mentally ill because these atrocities that are happening could be stopped if enough whistleblowers came out. They would have to stop it. Yeah, everybody, Autumn says that too. Yeah. Gang stalking simulation says I got 100% proof that gang stalking is real for all you skeptics. Yeah, I know. We know it's real. I had lights being stopped on me. Okay. So Future Knowledge says I've already been studying metamaterials. Okay, we need to talk Future Knowledge. I'm gonna look at. I don't even know what metamaterials are, but I'm gonna look at it, and we need to start thinking about that for shielding. If it's a metamaterial, maybe it can function as a passive defense that can actually block the adaptation of the electromagnetic spectrum, right? Going up and down the electromagnetic spectrum. But she said millimeter waves, and I think that that's what our body's being hit with externally, but I don't know if that's what's being used for the remote neural manipulation. I think some of it's actually infrasound, or it's like a bidirectional stream of photonic energy with an electromagnetic field that it's working with. Oh, okay, so Odin Wooten says, I make United Nations and the White House stutter. Good, keep making them stutter, Odin. Okay. Hey, thanks, PA, man. I gotta get in touch with you. I haven't been getting in touch with everybody I need to, checking on you guys, seeing how y'all are doing. I can't keep track of everything. Wayne Moore says, we'll take Future's word on her. Future Knowledge says metamaterials and lensing. Okay. I'm gonna look it up, Tanya. I'm gonna check out what metamaterials are, and hopefully we'll be able to. Hopefully it's not something that's too expensive, right? Metamaterials and the science of invisibility. So maybe metamaterials can actually make us invisible to electromagnetic waves. I know that the ZVS driver is not. Like the ZVS driver does not make me invisible to my attackers. They're still doing the V2K. Let's do a V2K break. We'll take a V2K break. Okay, the woman just said, this is sick. And then the guy just said, I don't care. They're saying stuff like do 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 do. So I can't catch it all, but I can tell y'all some of the little things they said. The woman goes, I'm leaving. Okay, and then the guy goes, he's crazy, baby. And then the woman goes, he knows what he's talking about. That's a weird one. She says that a lot too. She'll be like, he's not stupid. He's right about this stuff, because I'm telling them how dangerous this is and what it's going to do to our society if we don't stop it. And the woman, and I'm pretty sure that's a psyop, like surveillance role playing, where she's like, he's right about this stuff. It's hard to hear some of it. It's like it'll go, I can't really understand exactly what they're saying. I shifted this, guys. Okay, if you're using the ZVS driver, boom, bam, boom. That person, thank you for commenting and saying that it was making too much noise, because I ended up moving it down to the next level of the thing. Move it around. It's changed. Like my V2K is lower right now than it has been. It's like they adjusted to it. Moving the ZVS driver around, I think affects it. If you move it, because it's going to be making the field in a different area. They're adjusting to the field in one place for me because I've kept it right here for so long. If you're using the ZVS driver, move it every day. I'm going to start moving it around my room. This is okay. This is initial and I'm not quite sure, but this feels right. Feels right. Yeah, Autumn says we sound like mediums. V2K. Let's see. Let's take another V2K break. Okay, the woman, she's been saying this a lot lately, and this is the new. She's like, this is getting weird. Like, this is getting weird because, like, I'm a good guy and like I'm helping people, and this is what it seems like. It seems like she signed up to do this to bad people or something, and she's like, this is getting weird because like I'm actually being effective in what I'm doing, and like she says that a lot. I sometimes wonder if she's not just saying things she really thinks, and then they're just using it for the whole V2K thing. I don't know. It's a huge silence. They're muffled. They're muffled right now. I can't really tell what they're saying. I moved the ZVS driver down here. I shifted the field. I shifted it. They were getting used to where the field was because I always just sit here and I had it here, and they got used to it. And now I've shifted it, and I've shifted where it's coming from. Move. Okay, if you have a ZVS driver, like I'm pretty sure about this, guys. If you're using a ZVS driver, move it. Even if you're just moving it like 3 feet, keep moving it. Move it every day. Move it when it's not on though. Like turn it, unplug it, and then move it. Because if you move it while it's turned on, it might short out or something like that. Okay, guys. Yeah, Deb Full Grace says she's delusional. That lady is delusional. She knows. She would have to know. She works for Air Force Research Laboratory. She learns about these weapons. She's had to come across targeted individuals. She's had to have seen the Cuban embassy attacks. She's had to have seen the China consulate attacks. Dude, the V2K is lower right now because I moved the ZVS driver down. I can hear the guy. He said something like, okay, he just said, you're retarded. He actually said, you're retarded. Usually he talks about me in the third person, but the guy just said, you're retarded, which isn't usually on the chatter box, so that seems like it's manual. It's like, you're retarded. Okay, so Mike Banks says, am I the only person wondering what mass chat program they're using? I think there's a lot of different softwares, Mike. I think there's like different chatterbox programs. And what I think that my attackers have done, and I've talked about this on some of my videos, they started out manually saying things, and they made sure that they were saying things in the third person, like he's doing this, or he's stupid, or get out of there to me, or so stuff that was general, so that they can put it into this chatterbox software program, and then the chatterbox software program is running, but it seems like when they say stuff manually, it's stopping for that little point in time. So it's like this automated software program that works with manual input. It's like a layer that keeps going. These automated systems are very, very advanced and very, very smart. People need to know about this stuff because it can really it's tricked me a long time for thinking they were just sitting there and they kept talking, you know, for a while until a couple of years ago. Hey, Barefoot Sungazer. How are you doing? Mike Banks says, I think it's some sort of form of control over us they get off on or something. No, it's definitely, it's not, they're not just doing this for their pleasure, although some of them do get pleasure off of it. This is an organized experimentation and torture program by the military industrial complex agencies contracting out. They might get pleasure from doing this and feeling power over people, but they didn't just say, I just want to do this. I'm just going to look for this equipment. They networked with contractors to get these jobs and to do this and to do these highly classified experimentation and torture on us. It's not like people just said, oh, I'm going to just go get this equipment somewhere. They sign up with these contractors, and it's like, you have to have a certain clearance to be using these weapons. You have to have a certain clearance to be using these integrated weapon systems. I guarantee you, 100%, you have to have a certain clearance and be working for the military industrial complex, one of these contractors, right, under the DOD, NSA, CIA, or maybe another agency, but you know, and they do get off on it. So you're right. Don't get me wrong. You're right. So this guy seems to really like it. Sometimes. Sometimes it's just like, it seems impersonal. He's just like, we got to do this. He doesn't really hate me. I've gotten to a point, this is what I say to them sometimes. I'm like, you know, it's nothing personal from y'all. Y'all are just killing me. You don't really know me. Well, it's nothing personal, but I'm going to save some lives and I'm going to stop this program. Nothing personal. And it's so weird. I know some of you targeted individuals. I know if me at like year 2 or 3 heard myself talking, I would be like, that guy is a fool. I would maybe think I was fake or something like that. But when you go through this for so long, you have to kind of get past and release the hatred all the time to these people doing it to you. You have to kind of see them as a disease, and you've got to be solution based about neutralizing them, neutralizing the disease. And I, you know, like I said, I'm not perfect and perfectly successful in all this, but you just do it like over so many years, it just happens. Like you know you have to survive, and you know you'll burn away with the rage that you feel towards your attackers. So it's a weird relationship that I have thinking about those people on there. It's very weird, and sometimes to survive, I'll make fun of it, or just, you know, because like I'm going for the head of the hydra. You know what I'm saying? I've had to change. I've had to become more sophisticated as a human being, and I've gotten God's help on that. Y'all are more important to me. Keep this in mind. Your families, your own life, the people that you're helping, they're more important than these people. They're killing us. We need to neutralize that, to get defenses, to stop this. But if you waste all your anger and your rage and your focus on them, you're feeding into it, and then these things that are really important kind of fall by the wayside. If I heard myself talking 2 years into the overt torture, I'd be like, that guy is just insane. Like, but it's what you got to do to survive, you know. And you know, I get angry and yell at them sometimes. But there was a period where I was like, if I ever found them, I would kill them, right? I'm going to look for them after this, and I'm not going to harm anybody or myself. Oh, crap. I got to be careful about how I talk about this, but there was a time, a long time, where I wanted revenge. I'll just say that. Now I don't care. They've taken so much time in my life away from me. I'll try legal action, right? If I can find out who did this to me, I will pursue legal action to try and take all the money that they got away from me, but I'm not going to give them any more myself. And I'm a good person, and I want to do good things, and I don't want to become a rageaholic trying to get revenge. I really do think once you get revenge, you can't stop. You know, you don't just get revenge and then live a happy life. You live with that, and it scars you, and it's just taking more from you. You know, so what God has instilled in me and put in my heart is you got to neutralize these people, focus on the people important in your life. You know, they're going to get what's coming to them. In the name, you know, God, in the name of Jesus Christ, God's going to take care of these people. He already has. They live hollow, stupid, awful lives, soulless lives. Like, they are not happy people. People that have to hurt people to feel any kind of like joy or fulfillment, they are, you know, they're not okay, and they're not happy, and they're not living it up at all. You know, they've already paid, and they're going to pay more no matter what. God will punish them, you know. But I'm not saying we shouldn't go after them legally. There's justice that needs to take place, right? I'm just saying, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm going to get revenge on them, and you know. And I know some of you guys are in a place like that, and I'm not judging you, because I've gone through that for many years. If you can quickly try and get out of that, you know, saying that we hate these people and wish they would die, you know, we do that kind of stuff. The quicker that you can start focusing on how you can help good people and yourself, and neutralizing them is the important thing. Like with your willpower, with your mind, with meditation, and then also hard practical defenses. That's the best way to make them pay. When I'm doing good and I'm getting good stuff in my life and I'm helping people, they're failing. You see, they're failing. When I'm yelling at them and saying, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, they're winning and they're feeding on it. You see, so this is we need to become more sophisticated and adaptive to this problem. It's not something that we can do things that human beings have done for millions of years. We have to adapt, you know. Hey, Cowman. So no whining says most of us have trust issues, West Point, money issues as well. Yeah, the trust issues are like the worst, because sometimes the people I should really trust and, you know, who are awesome, I'm like, how far does this go? I don't know how far who can I trust, you know? It's like one of the worst things. Yvette says neodymium magnets barefoot, place them in a hat, tape them on your body. It helps against the frequency. Yes, neodymium magnets help, and especially for the V2K, you can put them by your ears. Get something to hold them by your ears, which I have these things. What's it called? The brain coat. It's a brain coat from Less EMF, and it has these little flaps, and I'll put them in the little flaps, my little neodymium magnets. Yeah, that's a good shielding. I haven't used magnets in a while. I'm probably gonna kind of throw them in there to switch things up. Right? Switch things up. God, that's crazy. I can't hear my B2K. What they're saying exactly. I've just got to move this like every day. I've just got to move it. I'm going to move it and I'm going to get something else, but I'm going to move it around, because they're not only adapting to the strength of the field, they're adapting to the position of the field in the room. Oh my God. How did I not think of that? Well, I know how I didn't think of that, because who knows about any of this stuff. So, yeah, Deadpool Gray says, West Point, we do talk about solutions. We help each other. Oh, definitely. What were you saying? I love West Point. I love West Point. These channels never talk about solutions. Have you watched my videos? That's kind of you. If this is the first video you're watching, I love West Point, I guess I can understand that. That's all I talk about. That's all I talk about is defensive solutions and like what doctors we can talk to. And I'm gonna go through the Targeted Justice website, and there's a lot of solutions that people are working on. I guess sometimes that happens. Like you see one video where somebody's like talking about something, and you're just like, oh, they never do this or they never do that. But also, if you're thinking that, you got to understand, when I'm just a targeted individual with a YouTube channel. Every targeted individual can do this. Like I don't get money. I don't get paid to come on here. I do need some donations to make the channel better, just to support the channel and to support other activism. PayPal.me/Vulcan Wolverine. But you got to understand, like, I'm just a targeted individual talking about an angle of this. You can't get one targeted individual channel. No one targeted individual talks about everything that we need to talk about, right? So that's why we need more people speaking out. So kind of get the right perception about what's happening. You know, you might not have the right perception about what's happening. You may think like that I need to have all the answers or something like that, but I'm just one targeted individual talking about certain angles of this, but there's so many angles to this problem, to what's going on. And I'm not trying to be down on you, man. I'm not trying to be down on you. I love West Point. So, suspicious name, though. I'm not going to go there. All right, I'm just going to stay off of that. Yeah, Tanya Bauer says, get another one to give it a rest. That's what I'm going to do, Tanya. And I'm going to do a live stream where I put it together. PA says, yeah, I learned a lot from this channel. Kyle gives out great information. Thank you, PA. Thank you, brother. Live long and prosper. Like fist bump to all you guys. I really hope y'all are doing well. I know this stuff is super, super hard. Super hard for me, and I have some good defenses that kind of work. Thank you, Ella Advocate. Ella Advocate said, thanks, Kyle. You've done a lot to keep us informed. And I'm gonna keep working at it. I understand the frustration sometimes that targeted individuals can have. If you feel like people aren't talking about something, like that you have an angle on this and you know something important, put a video out about it, or let me know. And if you put a video out about it and you're like, Kyle, I want people to know about this, and I made a video about it, I will direct people to that video. Unless, I mean, as long as it's pretty logical, as long as it doesn't just like, you know, as long as it's logical, you know what I'm saying? But don't think like, oh, they never talk about this. Say like, oh, they don't talk about this, so I'm going to talk about it. So you can go on a conference call, get on the conference call and talk about things that you don't think are being talked about. People like Ella, Dr. Horton, Ramola. Ramola covers a lot of angles. Ramola probably covers the most angles out of all targeted individuals that I can think of. Like right now at this moment, well, Ella does too. Because Ella brings on a lot of people who talk about it. But just if you're like, man, they're not talking about this, like talk about it in chat. Talk about solutions and stuff like that. That's the only thing that I focus on is solutions. I think some people kind of get mad. They're like, you're focusing on defending, but you're not focusing on like ending the program. But my logic, like I want to focus on ending the program. My logic is we need to feel better. We need to make our bodies and our minds and our nervous systems feel better so we can do better. It's the place where you start, right? So it's like belief in God, that connection to God, then making our bodies healthier, then you take action, right? But you're doing all that at once. You're doing it all at once. It's all flowing into each other. It's flowing in and out of each other. So your belief in God's going to help you to take good actions. The good actions you're taking are going to help you to find the defenses that you need. God's going to help you with the defenses. Defenses are going to help you take action. Defenses are going to strengthen your connection to God because you're feeling physically better, right? So we're using all these things, right? We're using all these tools. Oh no, Cal. Cal says it's all coming undone. I'll probably head for Alaska wilderness. Oh no, Cal. All right. Well, dude, there's some cheap solutions, man. There's some cheap solutions like Dave Case's CD and grounding. If you have a little bit of money, you could feel a lot better where you are, but you know, do what you think is right. Be careful, man. I guess if you got into it would be a lot better, you know. But I don't know, man. I don't know your situation, man. If you want to email me, Cal, vulcanwolverine@gmail.com. Like I'll talk to you on the phone, man. Hey, GMH says this is a great channel. Kyle is legit. Seems to be genuinely interested in helping people and putting out good content. I don't watch enough, but watch when I can. Always feel better after watching. That's awesome, GMH. That's what we need. It's like we need to feel better after we watch video. After we talk about this, we know how much it sucks, right? And we can talk about that. But when it's the what does Ella always say? She says the roses with thorns with roses or something like that. So it's like you talk about stuff. It sucks. This sucks. We're in a lot of pain. But you always want to be thinking of that solution. Like this sucks. What can I do to make it better? And that's we got to make each other feel better. I got to lift each other up. And I'm telling you, there's a scientific reason to raise your resonance. When you're positive and you're thinking of positive solutions, you're thinking about the positive things in your life, your resonance is higher. The extremely low frequency weapons that they're using, and that's a lot of the remote neural manipulation, it's not going to resonate with you as well. When you're stressed out and depressed and you're keeping in that cycle, those weapons are going to just be in sync with you, almost just an incredible connection with your brain and your nervous system. So the more positive you are, the more that it's not going to resonate with your brain and your nervous system. A lot of these frequencies that they're using. Oh my God, Odin Wooten said my targeting has cost me over $1 million. I'm sure it's cost me a lot too, because I could have a career in everything now. I don't know how much I'd be making then, but like spending on defenses and stuff like that, probably like $10,000 or something like that. I had a 401k after I left Dell, and I used a lot of that on some very expensive stuff. No, not $10,000, 5,000 in all over like 8 years. Yeah, Cal, just email me, man. I'll talk to you. I know this stuff sucks. Everybody's really hurting. I am. I could bear. Like I got up today and I was walking around my house, my condo, like playing that Oceans. That song, I can't remember what Oceans Rise song, and I was like limping around because my back hurts. And I'll tell y'all what I was thinking about. I was thinking about Hawkeye because I want that haircut. I want the haircut where you shave and get the faux hawk. And I was just thinking, I was like, he's like the Avenger with no superpowers, but he can always hit his mark, right? And I'm not talking about this targeting our attackers do, but it kind of gave me this thought of like, God's going to direct our arrows. Just shoot your arrows, go with what's in your heart, what you think's right about this, shoot your arrows. And if they hit, let our aim be true, right? Let our aim be true. God will direct it. So just try and be positive, guys. I know a lot of the times it seems crazy to be positive, but it's the only way. It's a pragmatic thing. I know that some people maybe are like, oh, you're naive, blah, blah. And not a lot of people say that. All you guys in chat are really awesome. People watch my videos, but being positive, no matter what has been brought into your life or been done to you, is the way to survive it. And you've got to make a choice. You got to make a choice. Do you want to survive? Make that choice. Never go back. And then make a choice every day. Stay on the positive side as much as you can. And when you can't, just think about solutions. Even if you have to think about solutions to make you feel better in a negative way, and with the rage, I'm going to do that. Push, right? Birth is very painful. Yeah, birth is very painful. I don't know what we're birthing into, but God's going to help us to go where we need to go in our individual lives. Mike says, and also I'm worried a lot of the work I do would be physical, and I do not want to be pushed off a building or some accident. Yeah, I tried to work and I couldn't. I was bringing oxygen, setting up oxygen for people, and I would pick up these big oxygen things. I have to like lift them and bring them into people's houses, and my attackers would hit my lower back with directed energy, because anything that you're straining, they can hit it with a certain stream of energy and make that place that's already hurt worse. And it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. I couldn't think. It was a very important job, so I had to be very careful not to do anything wrong, right? Because this is setting up oxygen for people that could die, and I'm having V2K and everything like that. I think we need to find some solutions, some online things where we can sell things, where we can set up Amazon stores. And I think that one thing, I don't know how this is going to work, right? I think there should be an incentive for speaking out about this. Like, I think that TIs that make channels, and I know some people are like, oh, you just want money or something. I think there needs to be an incentive so that people can be like, okay, well, I need money. If I speak out, maybe I can set up like a PayPal or set up something where TIs who maybe do have a little bit of money can support. And we can work out some kind of system. Now, I don't know, don't quote me on that. We need some kind of incentive for fighting this. We need some kind of incentive for doing this. And I'm not just saying this because I want y'all to donate to me or anything like that. We need something where it's like people who are putting themselves out there, there's some kind of incentive, and we can make a market. Like, we can make our own market for actually for actually doing activism. I don't know how that would work. But I think like online things like, Amazon stores, Healthy Living and other things has an Amazon store. Michael Barden is selling hats. He buys hats and resells them. So he can do it from online, right? He can work from home, and then just he has to mail them, stuff like that. There's a lot of things coming out. I'm going to try and work on some of that, like, a Twitch streamer. If you play video games, you could set up a Twitch account, start Twitch streaming, and getting people who are not targeted individuals. This is an idea that I have because I know that targeted individuals don't have a lot of money. I was thinking about setting up a Patreon page, but it'd be like, you know, getting money from targeted individuals who have none. It'd have to be really, really, I don't know. I'm still thinking about that, if that would even be doable. But I was thinking I would do like a Twitch stream, play video games, get donations from non-targeted individuals, so that I could help targeted individuals with this, you know, with this channel and other things like that. I don't know. We've just got to be creative with that too, because that's that we need money, right? And I get money by like a little bit of Social Security, which isn't enough to do much. I was getting help from my mom, but she's getting very, very hurt, so I don't want to get too much help from her. You know, we're going to figure out things. We're going to figure out things. Just don't give up on that. Oh, Ode Wooten says 3 ways in life to make money. What's that? What are the 3 ways? Invest. Okay, so you said Odin says 1, carry a lunchbox to work. So you do the 9 to 5. 2, you make money off of people. I guess that'd be like donations and stuff like that. And then 3, investment. I can't think. I really can't think of any other way. You either get a job, make money off people, 3, investment. But you can do the online thing. You can do the work from home, and that's kind of, yeah, it's something. There's a lot of kind of creative ways to make money. I think that maybe I just can't think of them right now. Yeah, I guess so. Odin would say everything can be narrowed down into those 3 categories. Yeah, probably. So Yvette says, anyone watch Nappyhead Roots? He does live streams every day, lives on the streets of California in his van. Yeah, I'll catch him sometimes. He does, like I'll catch his live streams where he's like in his van. I'll go ahead and tell you all the truth, I guess, because like what else do we have? I think a lot of the people that he accuses of gang stalking are not gang stalkers. I think a lot of them are like homeless people who, if somebody's like really, really mentally ill and homeless, they're probably not just they're not gonna get them to be gang stalkers. I think a lot of people that he accuses are just normal folk out on the street. But I think he does every once in a while, he'll catch a real gang stalker. I like Nappyhead at Roots. I just want to tell the truth about stuff. We've got to be careful about accusing everybody of gang stalking, because gang stalkers are strategically placed, and there's a lot of it. But it's meant. The science of it is that it blends in with normal everyday activities of people and coincidences too. So you've got to be really careful. And I just don't think like somebody who is like really, really destitute and homeless, maybe they'll get them to do like one thing to you one day, but they're not gonna, you know, they would, you know, if they're working with DHS fusion centers, they would be able to get a place and get money and all that kind of crap. You know, I don't know. I think that I've seen a lot of his videos where he's coming up against, you know, across people who are not gang stalking, and he accuses it, and they don't know what he's talking about. You know, and he's very popular, I think, not just from targeted individuals watching his channel, but from non-targeted individuals kind of laughing at us, kind of going, oh, this Nappyhead at Roots, get him, Nappy, you know, and it's a lot of comments to people who don't believe this is happening, and that's proof to them that we're mentally ill, is that we're going up to everybody. But I like him. This is really complicated. So when I say something about a targeted individual, I'm not really insulting them. I'm just saying what I think. Just that they're speaking out, love it and support. You know what I'm saying? And people say, like Brian too always kind of criticizes me about stuff. So, but Nappyhead Roots is a great guy. He's a great guy, and yeah, he's out there on the street. And yeah, Autumn says, Cal Marsh, I'm very sorry for what you're going through. Me too, Cal. I'm very sorry for what you're going through. Just be strong, man. You just, if you stay positive, you don't know what's right around the corner. Everything may feel like it's falling apart. Like I've been in that position, not homeless, but I've been in a position where it feels like everything is falling apart and it can't be fixed. And I keep going, and you just don't know what's right around the corner. Please get with God, Cal. get with God in the name of Jesus Christ. Get with God. Be like, God, I don't know where to go. I'm lost. I do this every day, right? Where I get with God and I say, Father, I don't know where to go with this. What do I do? And you know, I've got some direction, right? I've got some direction and things, but you know, when I'm in a lot of pain and the remote neural manipulation is really bad, I'm just like, I'm lost. This is too big. You know, this is too big. Go to God and he'll give you some direction. He'll send something into your life. It's very, very concrete, guys. God is so concretely in our lives in these ironic fashions. So get with him, Cal, and email me. We'll talk about some very cheap things. Like I'll get on the phone with you. We'll talk about some cheap stuff, you know, that you can use. Okay, guys. Yeah, Tanya Bauer says yes, ma'am. Yes, Kyle, we need to help TIs. Yes. I think when you start doing that, guys, when you start helping other targeted individuals and just other people in general, you're going to lift yourself up in a big way. You're going to feel better about yourself. You're going to feel so strong. You're going through this and you're helping people, and it helps you to help other people. You start going in this trajectory, right? You're trying to get into a trajectory. If you're not helping other people and you're not really doing anything, you're kind of like in this negative cycle, right? And you're kind of just waiting. You know, you're just waiting and your attackers are using that. But if you're proactive and you're helping people, it's going to send you in a certain trajectory, especially if you do it with God. If you do it with God, the sky's the limit. Who knows what can happen? And I just really believe that. Belief, it's number one. It's number one. Yeah, Calmar says, no whining. It sounds like a war zone out here. It is. It is, Cal. This is a war. Like, even though a lot of people in society, they're tricked into thinking everything's okay or whatever, we're in a war. Like, we're in a war. It's the top of the pyramid, and basically the military industrial complex, they're trying to do full spectrum dominance to control the population with mind control, with weapons, with poisons, with, you know, all this crap. We are in a war. We're in a war for regular humanity to not be completely taken over and rendered powerless in our world, in our countries. We're in a very, very big war. Tanya Bauer says, Kyle, what should we do? Well, there's a lot of things we can do, Tanya. Just a bunch of stuff we can do. Talk about this. Talk about this. Get awareness out there. Work on your defenses, your shielding. Pray to God. And we'll go, I mean, we always go through things we should do. I'd say if you really can't think of any great ideas, like if you're like, man, I just don't know, I can't really find any great defenses, I don't really know what to do to boost awareness, I would get with one of these organizations. I know a lot of people are maybe untrusting of some of these organizations, but I would say get with Ella's organ, Freedom from Targeted Individuals, Targeted Justice, or Targeted America, or, you know, get in contact with Dr. Horton if you're in England. Try and get with some of these other organizations to find direction, you know. And I don't know, they're so busy. I think they have a hard time working with people one-on-one, but you can at least like go to Targeted Justice's website, see what they're working on, and then maybe you can get a little bit of direction from there. And I'll always be talking about solutions and things like that. I would say I'd say try and get Social Security. You know, I'd say if you have no money, go ahead, try and get food stamps. Food stamps can give you like maybe $300 a month for food, or I think it's like $300 every 2 weeks or $200 every 2 weeks or something. Apply for food stamps, apply for Social Security. We're owed way more than Social Security and food stamps. Start applying for that. And even if it takes if you got to appeal it and all that stuff, you got to appeal it and everything, you will get back pay from it. That has saved me. That has saved me, is that I have a little bit of that. Like, I still need help. Like, I really still need help, but like, I'm clinging on, right? I'm a cling on. I'm a cling on. No, but seriously, apply for Social Security if you are like destitute, and apply for food stamps. You know, number one. We're owed way more than that. Hey, Teresa Brown says, can you tell me about the ZBS driver? Yeah, Teresa, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it on another video. I have a lot of videos about that. So if you just go back a couple of videos on my channel, I talk all about it. And I'm going to put one together on the live stream. But I'm kind of tired, guys. It's like 9 o'clock. I think I started at like 6 o'clock. So I think we've been going for 3 hours. So I kind of need to end the live stream, guys. Yeah, Autumn says no whining. They are so cowards attacking children. Yeah, and they're experimenting and torturing children, and that's the saddest thing. Like, if there's a targeted individual, I think you're a mother, Autumn, and there's a lot of other, like if you live with your children, they will attack your children. And if you have like my parents, I interact with, they're going to attack your parents. And that's just the way it works. Whoever you're around, they attack, because there's no accountability for these programs. Wayne Moore says, I'm bringing out a line of see-through underpants. That's a good idea. It's a very good idea, Wayne. I'd buy some. All right, guys. Thank you all for y'all's. Oh, I was reading comments that were way up there. Wow. Let me read. Hey, Messenger of the Cross, man. I haven't seen you in a while, brother. Messenger of the Cross says, complaints that are not taken turn into an event. They know this. They deny any other reasonable way out and force you under their toxic stimulus. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Messenger Cross says, you're the bad guy of the hood, dude. Well, but you got to just be a good guy. You just got to keep showing people. A lot of people around my condo, they don't gang stalk me anymore. Like, I'm not getting a lot of gang stalking around my condo because people, like, I've just been living here. Like, I think they may even see my channel sometimes and they hear what I'm talking about. I don't get a lot of gang. But I do stay up at night. I stay up at night and I sleep during the day. So this is very unusual for me to be up during the day. Yeah, PA, thank you for coming, man. Thank you everybody for coming and supporting the live stream. And I'll be back. I'm gonna do more. And I think for the weekends, I'm trying to do something where Friday, Saturday, and Sunday would be days where maybe we just do hangouts. I wouldn't come with a bunch of information, but we just hang out, and y'all could come on to Zoom. And then Sunday would maybe be, and I'm not saying like every day of the weekend, but that would be a time where I would have, some hangouts and stuff like that. And then during the week, do informational live streams and this informational videos and stuff like that. So I'm trying. We need, guys, you just create channels. I'll promote them. You can come on to my channel. If you have a channel and you want to promote it, you can just come on and we can just do one-on-one or something like that. So let's keep trucking, guys. Let's keep trucking. Let me say a prayer, y'all. I'm going to say a prayer real quick. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, in the name of Jesus Christ, dear Lord, just thank you for the lives that we have, that we're still alive. Thank you for the hope that you give us. Please just protect all targeted individuals. Give them strength, give them courage, give them bravery, give them healing. Give them healing. Send your angels around every targeted individual. Help them to make whatever decision that they need to make to get safe and to be safe and as secure as possible. Please give us more solutions. Just thank you for all these wonderful, awesome people that keep fighting for what's right. Please just help our families. Help any children being targeted by this stuff and tortured. Help them. Just help them through the pain. Help this to stop. Please end this program. Please end this program. Open people's eyes to this. Make them jump up and help us in any way they can. Please, God, just whatever your will, help us to be stronger and have victory in this life. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, in the name of Jesus Christ. All right, guys, I'll see you all in the next one. Just stay as strong as possible. I'm trying to work on better ideas for shielding, things like that, and You know, I think maybe I'm going to even think about something other than YouTube, not just BitChute or whatever, but maybe like try and raise money for, I don't know about this. I don't know. This is kind of in the future, but like a documentary or something we could push through. You know, I think a lot of targeted individuals have tried to work on documentaries, but I'm trying to think of anything I can do. I love you guys. Let's get with God, get whatever solutions you can grab onto, and just, you know, keep your hope. Don't let these evil bastards take your hope. Stay hopeful. Pray to God, and He will give you a path. He will give you a path. All right, guys, I love y'all. I'll see you on the next one, okay?